On this week's episode, we're getting our asses to Mars. Now you grab your tickets, because we're getting to the theater. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Adam.
I'm Erica.
I'm Etta.
I'm Jeremy.
On today's episode, we're going to be talking about 1990's Total Recall, directed by Paul Verhoeven. Verhoeven.
He's done some movies we've seen.
I'd be shocked if you'd seen some of these.
Oh, well then never mind. I thought he was a prolific director, but...
Oh, I mean, he is. I love several of his films, but I'd be shocked if you'd seen some of these.
Are they dad films?
Well, let me read them off to you. They're
That
heavy. They're heavy on the sci-fi.
Term is banned.
RoboCop.
Oh, nope, never seen it.
Basic Instinct with Sharon Stone.
The same Sharon Stone?
This is how she got the role in that movie.
Oh, is that the one where she cut her hair and she has like that scene where she's like lifting her leg over that thing and she's sitting at the desk in that white dress?
The white dress part, yeah.
Oh.
You had that right. She's in a chair
She's
in
not
the interrogation room.
She's not crossing her legs?
Oh, no, she is.
But does she actively cross her... I feel like that scene stood out to me as a youth.
Because Sharon Stone's flashing her vulva?
Maybe.
Yeah. He directed Showgirls, which is prolifically bad.
Oh, with Jesse from Saved by the Bell.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Starship Troopers, Hollow Man.
He has a...
Hollow Man.
The one with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reimagining of The Invisible Man.
Didn't I choose that for...
You suggested it for a future episode, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Yep. So possibly stay tuned. Ooh. Jeremy, can you give us a brief synopsis of what this Arnold Schwarzenegger movie is about?
Because it's your pick, right?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Not a whole...
Yeah, brief. Total Recall is a movie that's based on a story, We Can Remember It For You Wholesale, written by Philip K. Dick. The story follows this man who dreams of going to Mars, and in pursuit of that, finds himself at the center of like a global conspiracy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He starts off as like your everyday, I guess I should have said everyman.
Yeah.
But he's a construction worker. Douglas Quaid. His wife Lori, played by Sharon Stone. The movie is set in 2084. So they originally wanted it to be a little less in the future, but when the director was looking back at like Blade Runner, which is set in 2019, and he was like, we're definitely not going to get that far along with sci-fi by that point, so we'll set it further ahead, make it seem a little bit more possible to what we're doing here.
I feel like this is the most 80s futuristic situation I've ever seen in my life. I was like, did they even try?
What didn't help with that is the building he lives in on Earth was actually the Mexico City train station.
Yeah.
So that looked very 80s. Like even the advertisements and stuff outside were the real advertisements that were there in 1989, probably when they were filming this.
It's like it felt like they didn't put any imagination to what they thought the future was going to look. They were like, "What's here now?" Add a calculator.
It's based on a story from 1966, so
Right. But we've also done a previous Philip K. Dick adaptation, Minority Report.
that's right.
Mm-hmm. So this is our second one with him. I think this is our first Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, though.
I believe
It is.
so.
So like we said, this movie centered around Arnold Schwarzenegger's Doug.
Wait. Let's circle back real fast, though, to it being set in 2084. Mm-hmm. And they're like, it's the far-off future. And that still could potentially be in our lifetime. We could live to 2084, which is wild.
We can make it.
I'd be 95.
Yeah.
We can make it. Drink your water.
I'm not going to be around that long, everyone, just so you know.
Drink your water. They might
Get
make
to
some
94 and decide to kill yourself.
You know what? I'm going to check out.
They might
The
make
future's
some
for me.
insane advancements in the medical field that might have you ended up making it.
At the rate we're going, no.
I mean, if they keep putting it behind a paywall, then yeah, we're not gonna make it. But
I was promised flying cars from Blade Runner, and in this movie, I got cars that look like really cheap go-karts. I don't want to live to see that future.
Well, it's okay.
Isn't George Jetson born like 3 years ago? He's like 3 now or something like that, supposedly?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Which is insane.
In, like, actual?
Yeah, George Jetson's actual birthday was a few years ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Gen Alpha kid.
Little iPad kid.
Yeah.
So our movie here opens up with some amazing miniature work. These rocks and cliffs of Mars, and you have Arnold and a woman who is not his wife taking a nice little stroll. They're looking out over what we learn later is called the Pyramid of Mars, big mountain on the surface. Like, they're having this real sweet moment. They're holding hands. They're looking at each other. What was funny is, like, their faces are like pressed right up against the glass inside their little spacesuits.
Maybe they're blind. Maybe they're like, I gotta get in there to see.
This is my prescription helmet.
Yeah.
The good stuff.
And Arnold takes a little tumble down this cliff, and when he lands, he smashes his mask open, and his head starts to, like, expand. And they paid for this effect, and they got their fucking money's worth out of it.
Very disturbing effect.
Yes.
Yeah, and they went over the top with it.
It lasts so long.
Now, it's not a bad effect, but, tone it back a little bit.
Because he's, like, screaming, his eyes pop out, his tongue swells and pops out of his throat.
They need you to know that if this happens to you, bad stuff is coming.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So he immediately snaps out of his dream, and he's in bed with his wife. And his wife is like, "Oh, were you having nightmares again? Was that other woman there?" He's like, "What are you talking about? What other woman?" She's like, the brunette. He goes, "Oh, you're jealous of a dream?"
It's like, you keep dreaming about this woman, though. Like, I'm with her a little bit on you keep having dreams about the same woman. And it's not me.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you making that face?
It's the subconscious. Like, you can't control what you dream.
Right.
Granted, if he...
You can influence a little.
If he's going out to Mars...
Like,
to visit this woman, then yeah, that'd be a problem. But you can't get mad over something somebody dreams about.
I mean, you can.
I mean, you can.
You
It's
can.
just not logical.
Not even a little bit. Why would you get jealous of a dream lady?
You can get mad, yes, but don't lash out.
Because she starts beating his ass.
She does.
Yeah.
They're being playful here in bed, and
For a second. And then she really starts mollywopping him.
she starts what?
Mollywopping him.
Okay.
My bad.
I feel like the other one's just as bad.
Granted, I don't think
wouldn't wanna
she's
get
doing much
volleyball.
damage because man's is swole.
Oh my god.
He's a construction worker.
We'll get to that.
Construction worker.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
shit.
constructing something.
Oh, man.
Your body is your temple.
Mm-hmm.
But then we go to his breakfast, which he's blending oats, which at first I thought would get Erica all happy because she loves overnight oats.
I love some oats for breakfast. They make me so happy.
But he's pouring them in. He's making like a porridge, almost.
To drink, though,
Yeah,
right?
and he's
Yeah.
drinking it. It looks so gross.
Yeah.
But he's watching the news, and they're talking about on Mars, there is they call them terrorists. It's a rebellion led by someone called Quato, which throughout the entire movie, they make reference that no one knows who Quato is. They don't know what he looks like. But he's leading this rebellion. They're trying to stop the mining of turbinium.
Unobtainium.
Right. the name is bad. But it's this mineral, it's this do-all mineral. They don't really say what it's used for, that they're mining out of Mars. And it's led by a man named Vilos Cohagen, played by Ronnie Cox, who was the main villain in RoboCop.
Nice.
Which was also supposed to star Arnold Schwarzenegger, but they had a problem with the suit, so they went with Peter Weller, who's a much smaller man.
Oh, so RoboCop's not the villain in RoboCop?
No, RoboCop is the protagonist of RoboCop.
Oh. Okay. Sorry, the idea of a robotic cop just sounds like, obviously, villain.
This is definitely coming from somebody who's never seen or heard of RoboCop.
Nope.
Great movie. It's got Kurtwood Smith as like the heavy.
Red Foreman?
Yeah.
Nice.
In the news report, they mentioned that they closed the mine to the pyramid, and there's speculation that they found something in it, which is why they closed it off.
And this TV in the wall was the slackest TV in the wall.
Yeah, and it's like 3 screen panels.
Yeah.
And Lori's like, oh, you watch too much of the news.
Like, it looks like green screen.
Oh, of course.
They didn't try with the future.
No, but then she turns it off, and then it's this beautiful, like, scenery.
Yeah, it's almost like a window.
Yeah.
And he mentioned something about let's move to Mars. And she's like, Doug, why would you want to move to Mars? You know, all out war could break out there any minute. He goes, oh, you know, Cohagen says it's not even that bad. It's just a couple extreme people, you know, causing all the trouble up there. She says...
And she's like, we just got here.
Yeah, they just moved there. But she also suggests they visit Saturn instead, which I thought you don't want to do that because they're sandworms.
There's definitely sandworms. Don't do that.
Wow.
We learned that from Beetlejuice. Jeremy taught us that.
Oh,
Yep.
gosh.
Don't go to Saturn.
Yeah. But she kind of talks him out of that, like the whole going to Mars thing, and he's kind of a little dejected. But he says he's gonna go to work, and she's like, "Look, Doug, I know you really want to do that, but you know, let's try to settle here. We haven't been here that long." And he has that line of, you know, I was meant for more than this. I feel like being a construction worker, and she tells him, you know, well, you are more than that. You're the man I love.
Which is a sweet line.
It's sweet, but he kind of is just like, bye.
Yep. Like, I'm gonna go to work now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Throughout this whole movie, I get the sense he's not big on his wife. I don't think he likes her.
Look, the man's dreaming about brunettes, okay? Which, by the way, is a Philip K. Dick trope. Once you start reading his stories, you start seeing it. It's in almost every story. There's always a dark-haired mistress or some dark-haired chick that the main character's after. And the main character hates their wife, or they have a rough relationship with their wife or something like
blonde? Is the wife always blonde?
that. No, she's not always blonde.
Oh, okay.
But
like Rachel in Blade Runner, dark hair.
Dark hair.
The wife in Minority Report, dark hair.
Yeah.
Melina, we meet later in this movie, dark hair.
Yeah. So that guy had a thing
type.
for dark-haired women that were like, I guess, slim.
And could also kick your ass?
You mean athletic, Jeremy?
Yeah, slim, athletic.
So here's I pulled up a list of movies that are, according to the internet,
Adaptions?
thank you, adaptions of Philip K. Dick novels. We have Blade Runner, Morning Patrol, Total Recall, Screamers, which has Peter Weller, who's the guy who played RoboCop, Imposter, Minority Report, Paycheck, which is a really weird Ben Affleck movie, Next, The Adjustment Bureau, the Total Recall remake from 2012, and Blade Runner 2049. This movie was originally conceived back in the 70s, but they thought it would be too expensive and difficult to make, so they didn't do it until the late 80s.
It was incredibly expensive, though. It was one of the most expensive movies made at the time, wasn't it? $65 million?
Oh, I don't know.
That does sound expensive.
In 1990? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, $65 million.
But yeah, you see that pop up often because that author had issues with his
wife?
His multiple wives that he had. I forget how many times he was married, but
Also, Mans was crazy.
hey.
He was going through it.
He was on drugs.
Hey.
In the 60s, too, so he had that pure coke.
He thought he could speak languages without learning them.
It was only one. That was only one.
He was a religious fanatic.
What? Let's talk about the language that he thought he could speak without learning, though.
So he didn't think he could speak it. Apparently he had a moment or something like that.
An episode
Or
Probably
something like that.
Drug induced.
Where he definitely drug it. If you've ever read the book Valis, there's some more details about this whole experience. Because I think I read like half that book, and I believe it might be partially autobiographical.
Oh.
Because the main character, I think is just him, but has a different name. And the main character might be narrating about another character, and the other character is just him. So he's narrating about himself as if he was in the third person or something like that. I only made it through half the book. I was like, this is kind of depressing.
Oh.
To go back to the expensive thing, so presumably this movie was made in 1989 for $65 million. That's over $165 million in today's money.
Oh my god!
This was an expensive ass film. Yeah.
And I bet half of it went to those puppets.
No, half of it probably went to Arnold Schwarzenegger's probably on-set gym and cigars.
That mistress that he hasn't quite got yet.
Oh my god! But sorry, Jim.
He had 5 wives that all divorces.
Crazy.
Sounds like it.
The guy who wrote the story that this is adapted from, he had 5 wives, all divorced.
Oh my god!
Every last one of them.
Name's Philip K. Dick. Yeah, we know you're a dick.
And anyway, he had an episode and he started speaking in a tongue.
Coin Greek.
And his wife at the time reached out to
I can't remember.
New York Times.
Somebody at the university, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's a ancient Greek or something like that." Yeah. And he had never studied ancient Greek, and I'm like, how the heck do you
accidentally pop up with this?
I think that's how exorcisms start. That's one of the rules to getting the Catholic Church to actually deem something exorcism worthy.
Speaking in tongues.
Speaking a language you've never heard before.
Yeah.
I think Philip K. Dick might have needed Max von Sydow from fucking The Exorcist.
It's possible.
We will get this demon out of this director. No, stop writing your awful stories.
They're interesting. I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised. There are movies made out of it, but
we got more to pick from for later episodes.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Though I did enjoy the TV series that they made out of the short stories.
Electric Dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one's good if y'all want to venture into that.
Okay.
You would probably like some of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good. So Doug. He leaves. He goes to work. He is on his way to the train, and he walks through this big X-ray, which is one of the first uses of contemporary CGI in a movie.
It does look good.
It does. It was all keyed in frame by the animators. Just the person walks through a big glass wall, and you on the side of the, say, like almost like TSA, they can just see the skeletons.
Except they're all sitting down. No one's standing at the end. So I'm like, how do you know which one, outside of the person with the dog, who's who? There's no identifying factors in that because they're not single file going through.
I mean, when it detects a gun later, the person who has the gun is like, oh shit, a gun. And they're like looking back and forth, and they've stopped in the middle of the crosswalk.
Hopefully.
So, when the alarm goes off, it just makes you want to look around.
Yeah.
Is it me?
Everybody stops when the alarm goes off.
But to be fair, the guards do rush in to be like, hey, you can't. I mean, because it is a long walkway.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not like an X-ray machine where you just like walk in, beep, and you keep going. Mm-hmm. It's a good little stretch. Maybe, 20, 30 feet?
Yeah.
Walkway. So the guards have time to run around and, corner you.
Push back their chair, pop up.
Oh, let me put down my coffee.
Yep.
Do a little stretch.
Oh, let me close Rule 34. Sorry. But it's a cool little effect. It really is interesting. He gets on the train, and there's TVs at every single row of seats on these trains. And
which seems impractical, not to cut you off, but why?
They really want to show how futuristic it is. TVs everywhere.
They were trying. They were trying.
It's one of the few changes they made, I believe, to this set, because these trains were the actual trains that were used by the city of Mexico City. Mm-hmm. They just repainted them. They changed some of the signs because the signs were in Spanish. They changed them to English. And I think the TVs were something they added just to give it... I wasn't being sarcastic. They were trying to give it like a futuristic look, I think.
TVs everywhere in the future.
Yeah.
They weren't wrong.
Yeah. Like nowadays we have screens practically everywhere.
Everywhere.
Times Square is 90% screens.
Well, Times Square was 90% screens back in the 80s.
I know, but now the screens are smaller. They're thinner. More of them.
They didn't think to thin things out in this movie.
Mm-mm. They didn't have the technology.
Well, it was the 80s too.
Yeah.
I love his iPad suitcase that comes into play later on in the movie.
Oh yeah.
That thing is obnoxiously large. Then we join Doug as he goes to work, and he's a construction worker.
I want to talk about this construction site. He's in this hole with his little jackhammer.
Right? That's
No helmet.
Nope.
No glasses. No earplugs. But the guy behind him, all of it. he even has metal shoes.
Does he have gloves?
He has gloves,
Okay.
everything. This man is decked out in OSHA attire. But him and his friend, not near outfit.
Can't cover the muscles, man. That's how he.
Yeah,
how
I mean,
he
you can't hide the beefcake. You got to leave that out in the open.
He could have lifted the flap.
Well, I love what you just said. The one guy is OSHA safe. There's nothing else in this movie that is OSHA safe. Later on in the film, the shit gets wild. I was sitting there watching it the other night going, no, stop. Put a railing there. Get a mirror, something. But no, Erica's right. There's one guy in the background, has all that shit on, and then Arnold, Doug, and his friend Harry, played by Robert Costanzo, nothing. No glasses, no hard hat, no ear protection, not a fucking thing. And Robert Costanzo was in Die Hard 2 as one of the cops at the airport, and he gives John McClane, Bruce Willis's character, a ticket and has his mother-in-law's car towed. But he's not in this very much, but he's Doug's friend Harry, and Doug is like, Harry, have you heard of this? I'm trying real hard not to do an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice, by the way.
Go ahead, do it.
No. We'll save that for later. He's like, you ever heard of Total Recall? Or I'm sorry, he's ever heard of Recall?
With a K.
With a K. And he goes, oh man, you don't want to go there. They'll scramble your brain. I know one guy went there, got lobotomized.
Yep.
Don't go there.
Just killed him.
And Doug's like, oh man, forget about that then.
Right.
And then it cuts back to Harry, and Harry's got this look at him like, you're going to completely ignore that advice I just gave you. Why'd you even ask? But Doug goes to Recall, and as he walks in, the receptionist has this really cool thing where she has like digital nails.
Bruh.
She just taps this little stylus to each one of her fingernails, and they change color.
I need it.
I thought that shit was so fucking cool.
I did until they like zoomed in. And I'm like, damn, those nails are so thick.
It's okay. You can.
It's like she put like 100 layers on there.
Yeah, you got to have something, because it can't be her actual nails, right? Or maybe it's supposed to be the nail polish. Either way, I thought it was cool.
It was probably just the way they had to do the thing so they could green screen the color onto it.
I mean, yeah.
But no, the color palette looked like an eyeshadow palette.
Right?
Yeah.
Just a bunch of little swatches.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
would tap the stylus to it, and then she keeps tapping her
But
nails.
I was like,
She definitely was like, I need that
I
in my
need
life.
it.
And I'm just like, bro, you would be out here for an hour or two trying to
Just trying to pick the
going through the
colors.
just
different
mixing
nails.
matching.
yeah.
I'm just like, bro, you've been in that for a long time.
So he walks in, he meets a man named Bob.
I like that they did think of FaceTime. But what was the point of that phone if the giant ass window was right there? Just tap.
Oh yeah, the receptionist literally, the guy's office is right behind her.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see him answering the phone behind her, and I'm like, what's the point of this FaceTime phone right here?
Yeah, his last name is McClane, which is another tie to Die Hard. But in my notes, I wrote down not Walton Goggins.
He looks so much like Walton Goggins.
When he stepped out and he has the side profile, he's got this big grin on his face. Looks like he could be related to Goggins. But he basically takes Doug into his office. He's like, all right, you're here for the recall memory implant, which will give you 2 weeks worth of memories, and you'll think you've been on this vacation.
Okay, wait, let's pause real fast, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because he takes Arnold into the office. Arnold sits down, and then you could see behind Arnold, the receptionist is looking into the room with it. I'm like...
Big window.
Yeah, I was like... Which brought back to mind of, why'd y'all got that phone right there? Why do you need the phone?
You know, she likes to watch the scam in progress.
Which I feel like this is a scam.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a legitimate thing. You know, people just come there and get memories implanted, and it's just the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
I don't have time to go on a 2-week vacation,
Yeah.
but I'll pay this guy 899 credits to make me think I did.
Mm-hmm. And I'll feel so much better about life because I just get to go on vacation all the time.
And then you can revisit that memory, like, oh man, remember when I did that?
Can they also undo the memory of you going to the place to get the memory implant? Because then you won't feel bad about, I never actually did any of those things.
Well, that's kind of a big thing in the movie. as we learn later, that Doug had his memories erased, and the memories of Doug were put in.
Ooh.
Kind of a spoiler, Doug's not a real person.
Yeah.
Doug's kind of test driving the Arnold Schwarzenegger vehicle.
Yeah.
Maybe. But, yeah, they can erase memories, they can change them, because we'll learn that in a few minutes before he leaves Recall, because they have a little conversation that kind of alludes to that. But Bob is telling him, like, all right, or I'm sorry, Doug says he wants to go to Mars on one of their deals. And I don't know if I was clear enough a few minutes ago about it, but Recall is a business that implants fake memories into your head to make it seem like you've been on some kind of trip.
Mm-hmm. Or just done some kind of thing in general.
Done some kind of... Yes, something. Climbed a mountain. Visited a place you've never been before.
I actually brought up to Etta. I was just like, the implications of having this stuff implanted in your head are like...
astronomical.
Just massive, because it's just like, all right, how would you like to have 4 years worth of college education implanted into your head so that you remember literally everything that you did when you were at that college? You now know everything that you would know if you had actually gone through 4 years of school. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, this completely changes how you learn things. That's what I really feel like they should have been advertising from that business. Not, oh yeah, you going on vacation. They should be like, hey, you want to learn how to drive a motorcycle? Or you want to learn how to pilot a ship? We can implant that knowledge into your head, because, I mean, a lot of learning things is just what you remember, whatever. So they just implant all kinds of learning and knowledge in your head without you actually having to go through it. So that would completely revolutionize, as far as learning and things like that. Like,
he could be like, hey, honey, I'm going to... go to work today as a construction worker, but after work, I'm going to get my doctorate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I come home, I'm going to have 8 memories worth of medical school.
Yeah, it's completely... I was like,
we could have saved Zill so much time.
So much
and
time.
money, apparently.
Yeah. Well, they might still charge you, like, insane amounts of money. But
no, but that's a really good point, Jeremy. I didn't even think about that when I was watching it.
As soon as they were talking about it, I was like, do you know how massive this company would actually be if it was a real company? It wouldn't just be some place, hey, you heard about that place where you can get a vacation memory implanted? No. It would literally be like, okay, I'm going to this place that everybody knows about, so I can get this information in my head, and then I'm going to know how to do this thing.
You know what else? You could theoretically live forever, because they can copy memories, erase memories, replace memories. They could literally copy your entire brain and plop it into somebody else. And when that person wakes up, they're going to be you.
They are going to be you. Then that is when we're going to start getting into the gray area of consciousness and the soul and all that. Because it's just like, okay, that person over there, that's not you. You're still you. But that person is also you.
That's probably where
it
ties into like a Blade Runner situation of, are you because you're you, or are you because what your brain thinks you're you?
Yeah.
Well, Blade Runner is more like...
But if you put that consciousness into an android, or is that android now you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Now you get into the gray area of consciousness and the soul, and what makes you actually you.
Oh no, that is very similar to Rachel in Blade Runner, because Rachel has fake memories that are from Tyrell's niece.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I totally get that. But yeah, that's a really interesting.
Yeah, this company would be massive if it was a real company.
If this was a real company, a construction worker would probably not be able to afford to go get a 2-week vacation.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, I guess it depends on just how...
the capitalistic society would not allow this construction worker to come in and...
Yeah, how rich they...
Yeah.
I'm going to go down there and learn how to count cards. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah, just the things that they offer would be insane.
Yeah, but no, it is an interesting premise. It's a really cool thing to think about. And now that you brought that up, it really brings in a whole lot of other cool things to think about.
Yeah.
You could turn anyone into an assassin if you wanted to.
Yep.
They did.
But Bob is telling Doug, all right, let's go to Saturn. You might like one of those more. He goes, no, I said I wanted Mars.
He's like, I want to go on or you might like the Saturn cruise, this 2-week Saturn cruise. You can go to Venusville.
Yeah, because Lori mentioned go to Saturn, go on a cruise. Mm-hmm. A space cruise sounds like fun. Just seeing stars and everything. Mm-hmm. Being that close to other planets.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is a ride at Disney. It's not a ride per se. It's the restaurant. You go up into the Space 22 ride at Epcot. Yeah.
That new one? Mm-hmm. But Bob tells him that it is a 899 credits for the 2-week trip.
He's like, you get to stay at the Hilton, all the best resorts, all the best memories, and things like that.
Yeah. And it'll really feel like you were there. Mm-hmm. You won't have to deal with lost luggage, bad weather, crooked taxi drivers. None of that. And he tries to sell him one of their packages, to which Doug is like, no packages. Bob asks him, what? Okay, you don't want that, that's fine, but let me ask you one question.
Wait, before that happens though, Doug brings up that guy who got lobotomized.
Oh, you're right.
And he's like, did that guy get his money back?
Yeah, because Bob says if you don't like your trip, you get a full refund.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Arnold, he's like, that was ancient history. We got new technology. And I'm like, it probably couldn't have been that ancient history. It happened like 3 months ago.
Look, as soon as he admitted to the lobotomy, I'd have been like, all right, I'm out.
Yep. It's like, you confirmed this happened?
Yeah, I'll take a fake memory to scramble my brain, please.
What about the guy that got lobotomized? Oh, that happened a long time. Oh, no.
That did happen? Oh, no.
Like, no, that actually happened. I'm gone. I'm done. Like, hey, you can't do... Surgeries go wrong all the time. Like, nah, bro. So I'm good. I'm gonna just actually go to Mars.
But he is like, what is the same thing on every trip you've ever taken? Doug is like, I don't know, I give up. You're the exact same. But with one of our specialty packages, we call them ego trips. You could be a playboy, you could be an athlete, and Doug sees one. Ooh, that one, secret agent. He's like, oh, that's a great one. Mm-hmm. You're on Mars. You're being chased by people trying to kill you left and right. You save the girl. You beat the bad guy. You save the planet. Yeah. How does that sound for a measly 300 credits? And the shot of Doug like sitting in the chair, he's got this big grin on his face, like a kid who just got promised ice cream. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh yeah, I want to be a superhero. I want to be a secret agent.
Hell yeah, sounds good.
And the doctor that comes in is Dr. Lull.
Like L-O-L?
Yeah.
No, L-U-L-L.
Sorry.
L-U-L-L.
Yeah, Lull.
Okay.
She's about to lull his ass to sleep.
Yeah.
Wait, let's circle back real fast.
Circling back.
This man's about to drop $1,200, roughly.
Credits.
Sorry, 1,200 credits. Mm-hmm. Is he letting his wife know? Does his wife know he's spending all this money? No.
It's his money.
This is the
I'd be really upset if you spent $1,200 and didn't tell me.
This is the back
if I'm spending
times.
my money, not our money.
Okay.
Technically, I can spend it whatever I like.
True.
Right?
This movie takes place in the back then future times. You don't have to tell your wife what you're doing.
True.
Back then future times.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Not wrong, though.
No, he's right. It's back then future times.
Yep. Back then mentality, future times. You don't have to tell your wife what you're doing.
True. True.
I'm taking a fake vacation.
Yeah.
Now, if he went on a real vacation and didn't tell his wife, that'd be a little different.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing she doesn't have access to these memories, because he beats her ass. Like, if I found out everything that happened to me in your memory, oh, buddy.
Man.
But Dr. Lull comes in, and she throws a little like a little floppy drive or something to the assistant Ernie, and he goes, blue skies on Mars, that's a new one. And Dr. Lull is like, all right, now I'm gonna ask you some questions, and it's really gonna be helpful if you answer them honestly. Now, before we load you in, do you want alien stuff? He goes, aliens? He goes, yeah, we found, it's a new thing we're trying out, but they found something on Mars, who knows, this might be true one day.
And she pulls down the TV.
Yeah, and it's flashing through, and there's a two-headed alien. Mm-hmm. There's a couple other aliens. There's some landscapes, and then we flash to, oddly enough, bit of a spoiler, an image of the reactor from the end of the movie. And then she asks him, your sexual orientation. It's like hetero. Mm-hmm. She's like, all right, do you like blondes, brunettes? We're gonna implement something into this memory for you. And he's like, brunette. And then a woman pops up on the screen, and it's the same woman from his dream at the beginning of the movie. Mm-hmm. And it's important we meet her later.
Crazy.
But I also like that mannequins haven't changed.
Oh, the little display screen?
Yeah.
It very much looks just like a mannequin.
But also the options for your woman
Uh-huh.
were so annoying.
Oh, just what was
It's like,
it
do you want slim or like it was what athletic or?
I don't remember.
But then it was like
Demure.
the personality. It was just like wanton, demure, or sleazy.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I was like,
That's
those
it.
are the only
Yeah.
options.
Yeah, I was like, those are the only 3 woman personalities. I don't know why you're mad.
We only have 3 choices.
Right, that's
It's
it.
like there aren't any more.
I was like, wanton, demure, sleazy. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's like there's no more options.
No,
This is
that's
as
it.
complex as we can have these.
It made me mad.
I was like, I already know what I would have picked off the rip.
But
Oh man.
but it's funny because I just assumed it was like a play on like the typical women you see like in a James Bond story. Like in a James Bond story, there's usually one woman you meet that eventually turns out to be a villain.
And then one woman you meet that's dumber than a box of rocks.
Well,
I've only seen one James Bond film.
yeah, but it kind of fit those tropes
Yeah.
for his secret agent fake memory he's about to get.
I guess it was just.
He's about to get
annoying
his
to
own
me.
personal fake movie.
But also, they like ask him these questions as he's like fading into unconsciousness, and
Right.
I'm like, shouldn't this be asked
before
before he in like a
Right.
little fill out situation so they can just go down the list?
Yeah, because what if those drugs hit him too soon and they're like, oh, fuck.
Right?
Just throw some shit in there and he wakes up and goes, I hated that.
Yeah.
But his choices for his dream woman were brunette, athletic, sleazy, and demure.
Wow.
Which I feel like 2 of those contradict.
Do they?
Yeah, how can you be sleazy and demure?
She's hiding it well.
That's why these choices were terrible.
Is she like a lady in the... You know what? Lady in the streets with a freak in the bed. I gotcha.
She's hiding it really well.
I mean, she's
Go on.
she's a whore.
But she hides it well.
She does. Well, she's working. I assume she was part of like the rebellion, but she was undercover
As a whore.
as a prostitute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she's also not a damsel in distress. This woman kicks fucking ass later in the movie.
Yeah, she does.
In her thigh-high Robin Hood boots.
I really like those boots.
And I also really like those boots. I don't know why she didn't chime in just now.
Those are really good boots.
was
Because
embarrassed.
your
Yeah.
head rolled, and I was like, oh well, he's throwing me under the bus.
Wow. And you just didn't say anything.
No,
did.
I
They were
was gonna
great
let
boots.
you have it. They were. I did like them too.
And
Yeah.
before you even said anything, I was like, "Oh, you like those boots, don't you?" Yeah. Before she even said anything, I was like, "Oh, I know you like those boots. It fits your sleazy demure personality. You fucking love them.
Those are the only personalities.
Only ones. There ain't many options."
So, after Doug passes out from his little drugs,
Right before he passes out. Like, as he's fading out, right? The scientist guy says he's going to love this.
oh yeah, he does say that, and he says something like he's not going to want to come back.
Yeah.
Yep. But then we cut to Bob's office where he's getting an emergency phone call from Dr. Lowell on his
FaceTime device.
yeah, where you have to flip down the keypad to answer it, and they're like, get in here, we're having a problem. He's having a
Schizoid embolism.
yeah.
It comes back.
They say it a couple times.
Yeah.
But this is such a great moment of Bob running in, and these 2 people are trying to hold down Arnold Schwarzenegger in this chair.
Because he's like kicking and
Yeah. Ah.
he's like, you're blowing the cover.
Yep. He's flipping all the way out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's choking Bob, and then Dr. Lull hits him in the leg with that knockout. I almost said knockout gun, but the anesthesia. She hits him with 8 injections in the leg.
The amount of anesthesia she put into this man, he should be dead.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
He should be on a permanent dream.
Yeah.
You ain't waking up.
No, because she hit him with 1 in the neck earlier, and that didn't take long to put him out. This time she hits him with 8. Ooh, sleepy.
8 right in the leg.
And then once he's unconscious, Dr. Lull is like, "You okay, Bob?" He goes, how hard is it to implant, or how hard is it to just do a simple implant? She goes, it's not that simple. He's going on and on about Mars. He says, use your head, you dumb bitch. Like, he went off on that lady.
In his defense, I'm not saying it was right. He was getting the hell choked out of him.
He was seeing stars.
Yes.
But Dr. Lowell is like, it's not that complicated, or it's not that easy. We haven't implanted the memory yet. He's really been to Mars. Someone erased his memory. To which Bob has the realization of, oh, fuck. Mm-hmm. This could get us in trouble. Mm-hmm. And this is what I mentioned earlier. They can change memories. Mm-hmm. He said, erase all of his memories of coming here. I'm going to go give him a refund. I'm going to delete his file. No one needs to know he ever was here.
Mm-hmm. Personally, if I was Bob, I would have been like, erase his memory, right? And eject a memory of something else. And then send him on his way.
Like, he lost that money. He was at a strip club.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, he's going to see in his account that he spent 1,200 credits at Recall, and he got it refunded. You know, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What happened?
I never went there.
Presumably, he's checking his bank account. Hopefully. With the DraftKings, spent $1,200.
Oh, yeah. Damn, someone stole my information again. But Doug wakes up in a Johnny cab, which have these creepy... robots that drive them.
It reminds me of Doctor Who.
Very Doctor Who. There's several shots in this movie that remind me of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And he's like, how did I get here? He goes, well, you opened the door and you got in.
Mm-hmm. I hate that.
Sarcastic ass car. The Johnny cab takes him home. When he gets home, though, he gets out and Harry's there. And Harry is like, hey, how was it? How was your trip to Mars?
It's like, Mars? I never been to Mars.
No, you said you were going to Recall. Did I? I did. I don't remember going to Recall. Harry's like, or he actually has that line of, "What are you, my father? Trying to baby me there, Harry?" Harry, oh, forget it, man. Come on, let's go get a drink. And as he goes up these stairs,
well, not Bob. Doug's like, I don't want to go get a drink, so he tries to like get out of it.
Yeah, he goes up stairs, and these three goons grab him, and they pick him up and carry him around the corner.
Yeah.
And Harry pulls out a gun. I was trying to keep you out of trouble, Quaid. I was sitting here to keep you out of trouble, and you fucked up. You've been blabbing your mouth about Mars. Mm. And Quaid at this point has absolutely no idea what the hell he's talking about. Mm-hmm. But he manages to get loose, and he kills all these guys.
He fucks them up.
He breaks one guy's neck. He shoots two of them. He just incapacitates Harry. He just breaks his arm, but this is the last time we see Robert Costanzo in the movie.
But, like, what is wild if they had just let him go up to his apartment, none of the rest of the movie would have happened.
That's true.
Look, they didn't know. They thought that he was just lying, and he had already done some shit, and they had a job to do. They probably should have got some stronger guys to do that job, because Doug was fucking jacked. I don't know what they were thinking, try to take this guy back there and fuck him up.
Listen, we're bringing Jesse Ventura. We're going to bring Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
We need some big guys.
Yeah, they needed some big guys.
Someone called Dolph.
They didn't have that. And I was just like, I don't know what those guys were thinking. Trying to drag him back there. Like, bruh, y'all work at the construction site with that guy.
Honestly,
Mans is built.
He doesn't need a jackhammer.
Yeah. I would have went ahead and shot him in the leg or something. Like, we need to go ahead and shoot him in the leg or something, because if we don't, he's going to fuck us up.
They're giving him too many chances to hit them. Like, you just got to go out blasting.
Yeah. Incapacitate this motherfucker.
Yeah. From the jump. But no, we're going to just take him around the corner.
Honestly, not very American of them.
Just shooting him in the street.
Right?
Well, they're not in Florida.
Oh.
They can't get away with just shooting someone in the street.
You're right.
But he runs back home. He's got blood all over his hands.
The only place he has blood, which is insane.
Well, give it time. But he runs back home. Lori's in there playing hologram tennis. It looks like she's playing Wii Sports.
It does.
With this hologram of a real tennis player whose name I don't have pulled up at the moment. But he
Venus
runs in,
Williams.
closes all the blinds. What did you say?
Venus Williams.
No.
No, it was not Venus.
No.
Well, yeah, because they were white.
True.
But she's like, Doug, what's wrong? He goes, people are trying to kill me. She says, no, they're not. He's like, get down. Don't get down.
Yeah, because he comes in, starts turning off all the lights, closing the blinds. And she's like, what the hell?
And he tells her he went to Recall. And she calls them brain butchers.
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't remember going to recall. He doesn't remember leaving recall. He only knows he went there because Harry said something.
Mm-hmm.
And she says she's going to call a doctor. And he's like, no, don't call anyone. You know, because she doesn't believe him. It's all in your head. And he goes, is this all in my head? Hands covered in blood. Not getting blood anywhere in this apartment.
Apparently it had already dried because there's no more blood anywhere.
Well, it's real funny. When he gets up in a second and takes his coat off and walks away, you can see where he reaches behind to pull his coat sleeves off. His hands are clean. But he goes to wash in the bathroom. But when Laurie goes to the phone, we see a man's face come on the little visor screen. Just, hello. And Doug finishes washing his hands and he steps out of the bathroom and someone starts shooting at him. They have a flashlight. He ducks behind the counter. He's telling Laurie to run. And he has this amazing moment. I called it the Waffle House maneuver. He just chucks a chair at the person shooting at him. And he manages to get a hold of him and he turns the light on and it's fucking Laurie. Guys, why is Laurie shooting at Doug?
Let's circle back though.
Of course.
Right? We're not going far, but he's like, Laurie, run, and he's running to the door. Why would he assume that Laurie's not already incapacitated or out the building?
I don't know. He might have just been hopeful.
Oh.
Hey, at least his first thought was, hey, wife, get to safety. Whereas in some things, like at the end of Terminator, when Kyle Reese jumps into that dumpster, he doesn't tell Sarah, hey, that truck's going to explode, get to cover.
Well, to be fair, in this one, he's known Laurie for 8 years. Kyle Reese only met Sarah, the other day.
Yeah, but he's got that photograph. But he basically is like, well, no, they have that quick little knife fight. Mm-hmm. She manages to get loose. She grabs a knife. She cuts him up a little bit.
Which is insane, because this man should have been bleeding for the rest of this movie.
Yeah, he got pretty good slice on the arm and across his chest. But he tells her, what's going on? Tell me the truth right now. And she's like, I'm not your wife.
He has a gun to her head, and she really gave in quickly for a trained assassin.
Folded.
Look, there's a gun to her head.
She folded about as quick as Ryan Gosling from The Nice Guys. You gonna be client that easily?
Immediately.
Also, this dude is huge.
True.
So it's just like, I'm not getting out of this. Man's is built. He got a gun to my head.
You're not getting away from those arms.
Yeah, I'm not risking that.
But she says, I never met you before 6 weeks ago.
She could have lied, though, also. How does he know?
I mean, no matter what, she was just shooting at him.
Yeah.
And then she tried to cut him with a knife.
Then come in with a lie. I really wanted a divorce. Or, no, sorry, she's like, divorce is too expensive. You just spent $100. I'm trying to get that insurance money. I don't know. That would have been more believable.
Consider this a divorce, Doug.
True. She's not wrong.
Right.
I mean, it's a little messier. Yeah. This is because you ate my leftovers last night.
Exactly. Come in with the lie, Laurie.
No, Laurie's telling the truth. I wonder what her real name was. I wonder if her real name was Laurie.
Probably to make the lie sell.
I mean,
they didn't need to. I mean, they could have said her name was anything.
Yeah, but then she has to remember that her name is this and not Angela.
Oh, so that's just too much to remember?
Yeah.
Not the 8 years of fake memories?
Exactly.
But just her fake name?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
They could have implanted the fake memories.
True. Maybe that's why
I just remembered her relationship with that other guy and ugh.
Oh, Richter?
Yes.
I liked Richter and Laurie together.
No.
Because Richter was like, I'm about this bitch. he was really ready to bring that planet down because Arnold Schwarzenegger murdered her.
That's fair. It just didn't make sense to me.
Came out of nowhere.
Well, she's explaining all this that they had never met before 6 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. She was planted there to keep an eye on him by the agency. His real name's not Doug.
She doesn't know his real name.
She doesn't know his real name. She doesn't know anything about him. And then she tells him, for what it was worth, you really were the best assignment I ever had.
He gets up off her. They're sitting on their little stools.
Yeah. And
I wonder why.
Yeah. But it's a great little moment because Etta hit her microphone.
Easy.
Because she's like, look, you wanna go for a spin for one more time's sake? And you don't trust me, you can tie me up. And then she glances over at the TV monitor real quick.
She doesn't just glance at it. She moves her head to look at it. I'm like, girl, just subtle eye movements.
distraction. Because when Arnold, like, what are you looking at? Looks at the TV screen, it's a bunch of goons coming upstairs with guns. And this is where he has a great Jurassic Park line, clever girl. And it was great if the one Laurie you were fighting in the living room, you didn't know the other two are hiding behind the couch.
Raptor Laurie.
Yeah, she's a raptor. A raptor with a blonde wig on.
Yep.
They're playing tennis in the living room. She's just tapping her big toe.
Was Jurassic Park out already?
No, Jurassic Park came out 3 years later.
Wow.
So I think Jurassic Park stole that line from
They stole that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because delivery was like beat for beat.
It was very similar,
Yeah.
Except for one, you have a big honking Austrian man, and the other one, you have a small English man in Hoochie Daddy shorts. This is great. He just knocks her the fuck out. He just drops this lady.
I thought he was, because he had the gun to her head, I think. And so I was like, oh, he's just going to beat her with the butt of the gun. But no, instead he just cold clocks her. Like, pulls back and just punches the hell out of her. And I'm like, wow, this man does not like his wife.
Look, that's not his wife. She was shooting at him.
He fucking dropped this lady.
Yeah, he did.
She was shooting at him, so hey, she could have got it worse.
Yeah. He could have killed her in this moment, but he
just
did.
shot her.
Wham!
I really thought he was going to just hit her with the gun.
Oh, also in their fight, she hits him in the nuts twice. She punches him in one, and then she kicks him in the other. Which there's a great third one later on. Rule of 3 for comedy. He runs out of their apartment, and the bad guys run up to the apartment, find Laurie, and they pull out a tracking device, and they start chasing Arnold through this building.
Let's pause real fast. I would like to point out that all of this is still like the first 30 minutes of this movie.
Yes.
Like, this movie kicks off so quickly, and I love that.
I think about the time he gets on the escalator, it's about the 30-minute mark of the film. So we're already a quarter way through the movie, and shit is already kicking off.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, this one of the best things about this movie is the beginning half of the movie does not drag very much. There's a little bit of dragging, I think, in the second act.
Once they get to Mars, I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's move this through.
Yeah, there's some stuff that it felt a little sluggish, but nothing really ruined the movie for me.
One character did.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
We'll get to him.
Yeah.
So they have this big tracker. All the guys run out, and the main leader of the hit squad is Richter, played by Michael Ironside, who has a phenomenal voice. Every time I hear this man speak in any movie, it's great. He's rocking a really bad comb-over in this movie. Like, he's always been bald, or balding, in everything I've ever seen him in. Just shave that shit, man. You look fine.
Is he still alive?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, Michael Ironside, I believe, is in his 80s.
Okay. So he was like 40-something here.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But he and Laurie are an actual couple, because they have a nice little passionate smooch right here. And he tells her to, pack her stuff and,
get on, get out, get.
Skedaddle.
Yeah.
So as they're chasing Doug, he runs up an escalator, and this is my favorite
It's so
fucking part of this movie.
Because he's like running through the subway, knocking through these crowds of people. And he's like running up the escalator. And the bad guys find him at the top. And they just start blasting down into this crowd of people. Mm-hmm. And the guy in front of Arnold gets hit. And then instead of being like, oh my God, that's tragic,
Yeah.
he grabs the guy. A la Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Yeah.
Start using him as a human shield.
And the guy's not dead yet.
They start shooting him from behind. He turns the body around.
He's whipping this guy around.
They're just using him as a human shield.
Yeah, because the guy gets shot as they crest the top of the escalator. And then Arnold's like, oh, he's already been shot. Let me not put this to waste.
Yeah.
And then he kills the guys in front of him. Richter and the blonde guy come up behind him. The blonde guy's name was Helm, by the way. And he's like, oh, well, let me put this guy to some more work. Turns around. He gets shot up. The squib work in this movie is beautiful. They're not using, nowadays in movies, it's all CGI, fake blood, bullet wounds. This is real squib work. These things are actually exploding out of this guy's costume. It's great.
They loaded that guy up.
He looks like Sonny Corleone on the causeway in The Godfather.
And Denzel Denzel at the end of Training Day.
It's so fucking great. And then to top it off, after the dude's been riddled with bullets, Arnold throws his body down the escalator at Richter and Helm. It's so fucking great.
But it makes it worse. The guy that was shooting at him before, they just step on his body.
Oh, yeah. The guy Arnold killed at the top of the escalator.
My God.
My favorite part of the movie.
So good.
They messed that guy up.
Oh, they did that man dirty. I wonder if that guy's got an IMDb credit.
That's Human Shield.
Human Shield #1 from Total Recall. So yeah, that's greatest shot of the movie. Doug runs down, gets on the train, gets away, and he winds up outside.
Wait,
what?
Did we talk about how he runs through the X-ray machine and they find his gun?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens right before he gets on the train?
Yes. Because they're like, oh no, he's got a gun. He's like, who has a gun? Where? And he's like, it's obviously you, my guy.
But it's great because it's just the X-ray shot of the skeleton with a big red flashing gun in his coat. Oh, and he jumps through the glass.
He jumps through the glass. I was just about to be like, wait, he jumps through the glass because they had him on either side and he ended up jumping through the glass.
Honestly, this is the weakest glass I've ever seen in my life because anything will break it.
Apparently, my man just charged through it, forgetting he's a tank.
Mm-hmm. That actually happens right before the Human Shield.
Oh, okay.
I have in my notes. Also, right before that, when they leave the apartment, when the bad guys are running down the stairs, anybody else catch Michael Ironside's weird-ass run?
Oh, has he's sidestepping down the stairs?
Yeah, he's running down the stairs sideways.
No.
Like he's trying not to fall and bust his ass.
He might have been.
I mean, he did it on both sets of stairs he ran down. I just thought it looked funny.
Maybe he did fall and bust his ass.
And he's like, not this time, Paul.
You're not getting me stairway.
Trying not to bust his ass.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Cohagen calls Richter, and he basically gives him an ass chewing. Again, Cohagen, played by Ronnie Cox. And he's like, look, if I wanted him dead, I wouldn't have dumped him on Earth to begin with. I would have killed him on Mars. He's like, catch him, reimplant the memories, and set him back up with Lori. You know, we don't want this guy dead.
Mm-hmm.
He's too important for some reason. We don't know yet. But then Doug ends up at the Hotel Ritz.
Wait, let's talk about him getting on the train real fast.
How he dives through the window.
He hits the window and then dives through. And then Michael Ironside starts just blasting into the subway. Like, why? The guy's on the floor. Like,
you might get lucky and hit him.
Maybe.
Yeah. They are doing the most to actually kill this guy.
Yeah.
But nobody can hit him.
I mean, action movie rules. You can't actually hit the guy when you're shooting at him.
Not until the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of a movie is usually when the hero starts getting a little banged up. Unlike Die Hard.
Yeah.
That glass running scene.
Action movies.
Unless you're Vin Diesel in a Fast and Furious movie.
You get one scratch.
Yeah.
Yep.
You scratch me once per movie.
Gotta keep him pretty.
Yep, that's right. This is the only part of the movie that kind of was weird to me. Like the ended up at Hotel Ritz. He gets a room. He goes up to that room and he immediately gets a phone call from some random guy on the phone who, honestly, for a second I thought was the guy from Columbo, the grandpa from Princess Bride.
I got nothing.
Peter Falk was the actor I was thinking of. The guy on the phone looked like a young Peter Falk to me.
Okay.
Don't know who that is.
Was he the titular Columbo?
He was. The guy that calls him at the Ritz Hotel.
Okay, I've seen him in something else.
Yeah. I thought it was this guy at first.
Yeah.
But this is the part that I was like, how did that guy know to call? How did he know that hotel, that room? I just assume he's got people following him at all times.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy tells him, like, look, we don't have time to really talk. If you want to stay alive, go to the sink, get a towel, wet it, and wrap it around your head because there's a bug on you. Don't look for it. It's in your skull. The wet towel will muffle their signal and make it harder for them to track you.
Mm-hmm.
Helm and Richter are in the car on their way to this hotel to find him. He wraps the towel. They lose his signal. The guy outside, well, he's outside on the phone, tells him, look out the window. Can you see me? Great. Here's a suitcase that you gave me that you told me if you ever got into trouble to bring it to you. I'm going to leave it right here. You come get it. I've done my part. I'm out. Me and my glass eye are going to go to the track.
In the 80s, did they have suitcases with wheels?
Probably.
Must have.
Okay.
Why?
I was just thinking, I was like, why wouldn't he have like a rolling suitcase? Like, has this man been lugging this giant ass suitcase around town in the hopes that he would find?
No, like, I'm sure that they're just tracking him.
Oh, okay.
They were ready for shit to kick off.
Okay.
Also, if you didn't get my glass eye joke when I said he looked like Peter Falk had a glass eye.
Like, Waka Flocka? Not Waka Flocka.
That's not Waka Flocka.
Is it Wiz Khalifa?
That's not Wiz Khalifa.
Who am I thinking of?
I know who you're thinking of, but I can't think of his name. Fetty
Wap.
Yep, there you go. Moving on.
Yeah, just like that. He had a glass eye just like that.
Rolling suitcase was patented in 1970.
Oh, really? It took 70 years to get a rolling suitcase?
Um,
I'm thinking suitcases were invented in like 1900. I don't know, the turn of century. I figured people were like throwing like a little handkerchief over a stick before.
I'm going on vacation. Let me pack my bindle.
Yeah.
Here, Doug. You told me when you were in emergency to bring you your emergency backup bindle. Here. Don't lose this.
Yeah, you know. So is that what it's called?
The stick? The cloth on a stick?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called a bindle.
Oh, wow. The more
I
you
know.
know.
And then I was gonna. Never mind. Let's keep going.
Total bindle.
Although apparently 40 years before that, there was a lady who had a rolling suitcase of her own that she just made. She didn't like.
She was like, I'm tired of lugging this thing.
Oh, so she was a witch.
Yeah,
yeah.
basically.
A woman created something?
She didn't get credit for it, of course.
Of course not.
Well, she didn't like patent it and release it into the world. She just made her own thing for herself because she's like, I'm tired of hearing this shit. So she made her own thing, and people are just like, hey, yo. She's like, yeah, I made this. Like, where can I get one? You can go fucking
You're a
make
woman.
it.
You can't make anything but dinner.
Yeah, let me see. When was that?
Oh, we also forgot to mention one of the best lines of this movie when Cohagen calls Richter after the subway shootout. He goes, what does he remember? And Richter says, nothing yet, but in an hour he could have total recall.
Total.
And he might as well look right at the camera and go, did you get it?
Yeah, and I was like, roll the credits.
Yes.
It was a great line, though. I think it makes it so good
was.
by Michael Ironside's delivery. His voice is just amazing. Between him and Keith David, some great voices.
He might achieve total recall.
He'll achieve total recall.
Oh, no.
But
Anything
also,
but that.
I love how Richter was so put out with that guy with glasses every time he got in the car. Because, like, he was like, you know, I think Laurie really enjoyed being married to him. And the guy's like, oh, God.
Oh, no, I'd have went ahead and whooped his ass because he was just doing the most.
He kept digging in.
But it was
Okay,
great because
with
Richter's
him.
like, what, you think? You saying she enjoyed it? And the guy responds, Helm, with a big grin on his face. No, I'm sure she hated every minute of it. I'm sure she hated those big muscles from that Austrian man.
Oh, she was messing with. He was messing with
Oh,
really
yeah.
Did you
hard.
see that thick Austrian hair he's got?
They may have actually been trying to play those two off as friends.
Mm-hmm. Well, I kind of got the impression they were because, I mean, he's the one guy that Richter hangs out with the entire movie up until the stabbing.
Yeah.
This guy has a great death. So he goes down and he grabs the suitcase, and some lady is trying to take it.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, get your own luggage. But it plays in that thing Bob said, lost luggage. Don't have to do it, lost luggage on a trip.
That's right.
And she has this great line that's kind of a nod to the Terminator, which was just 6 years prior. And she's like, fuck you, you asshole. Because Arnold says that same line almost exactly in that movie. Some guy, he's like, fuck you, asshole. He's like scrolling through his Rolodex in his little Terminator brain of responses. And he just kind of like does a polite little like bow, like, thanks for the suitcase.
Yeah. That lady wanted that damn suitcase.
I don't know why she saw it and was like, let me grab this.
Free luggage. You ain't no idea what's in that thing.
It's like people who, porch pirates. Come by and just steal random package. You don't know what's in it, but it might be something good. Maybe this has future weed.
Retro future weed.
Doug is walking down the street, and he walks right by Richter's car.
He has no spatial awareness. Like, you know people are actively hunting you. And you're still just beep bopping around the street.
But you're also easy to spot because you're a 6-foot Austrian man built like a fucking doorway.
With a towel metal wrapped around
with
your head.
what looks like a turban on your head.
Yeah.
You might as well just put a big neon sign over you saying, I'm right here.
Mm-hmm.
But they start shooting at him. He jumps in a Johnny cab, and he's like, get me out of here.
Drive anywhere.
And it's great, because the cab's like, I don't know where that is. Can you be a little bit more specific?
A little bit more specific.
And he just rips the robot right off of its little base.
Mm-hmm.
And they very conveniently have an Atari-style joystick to control the Johnny cab.
Thank goodness.
And he zooms away, Richter and Helm chasing after him. He manages to lose them.
Well, let's talk about these cars real fast, though.
How ugly they are?
They look like really tiny Cybertrucks. Like, every time I saw one, I was like, these fucking cars.
They're hideous.
Yeah.
Every little vehicle they get in is super ugly.
It's so bad.
And they all look so thin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whenever you see a door open, it looks like it's made out of aluminum. Like, any little bump or ding is going to make this thing crumble.
Retro futuristic car styles are so bad.
Yeah, they're all electric. But he gets to it looks like an old abandoned foundry. It looks kind of like the facility from the end of RoboCop. Back to that.
Okay.
And the Johnny Cab is like, that'll be 18 credits. He's like, sue me. And then the robot malfunctions and crashes into a wall, and it erupts into a ball of fire, which was great to see.
But, like, my brain was like, oh, obviously, in the future, if you try to skip out on your fare, they're just going to take it out of your ass.
Yeah, the
like,
robot tries to fucking kill you.
Yeah,
You
it's
just try
like-
to skip out on your fare.
It's like, that makes sense.
He's just like, sue me, robot. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he just loses his shit and tries to murder you. And it's like, bro, that's a bit much for not paying the fare.
Right?
I don't want your money now. Now I want your life. Pay up.
Turn into that goosebumps dummy real fast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But he, like, walks inside with the suitcase, and then he, like, shoves these rats, this mound of rats that are sitting on that pillar off the thing.
Factory rats.
Yeah.
Goddamn factory rats.
Poor rat.
Yeah, they were kind of handling the rats a little rough
Yeah.
on set. I'm sure in real life they had to have been clean rats. But
Yeah.
for the sake of the movie, he's just sitting there, and then later we see him just chilling, eating candy.
Tossing it to him.
Yeah, dude, you're going to have all kinds of illnesses later.
It's okay. They got future medicine.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Hopefully they're vaccinating in this future, so, you know, polio might not have come back.
I don't know, man. Fucking Cohagen might be charging for vaccinations.
Oh, the
He's
paywall.
charging for air.
I mean, they charge for vaccinations now. So.
The paywall is high. If you don't have a job, you ain't getting anything. You ain't getting anything. You better have health insurance.
And if you're a mutant, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're screwed if you're a mutant.
You're not even considered a person.
That's right.
They don't have a Charles Xavier.
Muties don't get nothing around here.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Reminder that it
There's a
is
small
here.
mouse in the studio.
Yes.
But he finally opens that suitcase, and he pulls out some Martian money, which I think their money looks kind of cool. It's almost like
It looks like Monopoly money, like
Yeah, it's like a
full-size
hot-
Monopoly money.
it's like hot pink.
Yeah.
And he pulls out a bunch of fake IDs, which we were getting a laugh. It was really great if one of the IDs was just him with a blatantly
With
fake
a
mustache.
fake mustache on.
That would have
That
been
would
great.
have been good.
Which I believe the ID that he uses at the hotel later, you can only catch a out of focus glimpse of it, but it does look like him with a mustache.
Nice.
But I would love when he uses that ID, the little image of him pops up on the screen, mustache. He pulls out a looks like some kind of probing device, sets that down, and then he pulls out the gigantic folding video player, which we see a glimpse of. The fat lady costume is stuck to it when he pulls it out of the case. And he sets it down, and a video starts playing of himself. But it's not Doug, it's Hauser. And he keeps calling him old buddy.
Yeah.
He's like, look, basically, you're not you. You're me you're me, but you're just piloting my body right now.
I want it back.
Yeah. But he tells him, I worked for Cohagen for years. I did all of his dirty work. And I met a woman, and I realized I had been fighting for the wrong side. So I have enough information to put Cohagen away.
I like how he's specific. He's like, I've been playing for the wrong team. And my brain was like, because you're gay. That checks out.
He realized he was gay.
Yeah. And I was like, you have been playing for the wrong team, sir.
He realized he was in love with Richter.
Yes.
But basically, Hauser is telling him, like, all right, we need to get that tracker out of your head. So I want you to take that probe. You're going to shove it up your nose. You're going to hear a crunch. That's when you know you went far enough.
The crunch.
I don't do well with bone crunches.
But you crunch all the time. You're like a crunchy little girl.
No.
We're in our 30s. That's just our joints.
There's a difference between popping and crunching.
What about locking? What about dropping?
Lots of differences.
That's fine. No, just bone crunching in general, and then noses.
This is another great puppet, though. Like so he sticks this thing up his nose, and Hauser tells him, no, it's
self-navigating.
Yes. It's self-navigating, so it grabs something, and you can see this Arnold puppet. You can start seeing this red light under the skin starting behind his eye, and it travels down his nose, and he pulls out something that's about the size of the top of our microphones.
This shit was massive.
It was so, huge. But it was so cool watching it come out of this puppet.
Yeah.
The practical work in this movie is so good, and it pulls it out, and it's this ball, and inside of it is the probe that's been taking up space in his fucking head for 6 weeks.
It looked like a little bullet.
Once you hear that crunch,
it did. Yeah, it did look like a little bullet.
Once you hear that crunch, you know you got it. Like Jesus, yeah. Let me jam this all the way up my nose till something crunches.
Right.
But, like, when he pulls it out, that man should have been, like, horrifically disfigured.
Oh, the way it expands around his eye and his nose, his whole face should look like he just got into a car wreck for the rest of this fucking movie. Which would have been a great little detail if they actually did that.
And he also should still be actively bleeding from when Laurie slashed him across the chest, like, a few hours ago.
Future Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Slap them on there.
Just don't even worry about that.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. Basically, the end of his message is, get your ass to Mars. He's counting on him. He's like, this is in your hands now. If you're watching this, he also says, if you're watching this, that means they got a hold of you and they erased your memory. They basically erased me. And they didn't want to kill you because you're too valuable. But he says, again, he tells him, like, you're in control now. You need to stop this. I can't really do much else for you. And then Richter and the guy, the goon squad show up, and they're shooting all around because the tracking device is going off all around them, and because
they're a little slow with this. Because I'm like, why are y'all chasing? You see, it's low on the ground. You're aiming low. Do you think he's just crawling?
Could be.
He's Call of Duty sliding.
Oh my god!
Between barricades. But he shoved it in a candy bar and then he threw it to the rats. So one of these rats has the tracker in it. Basically, they figure that out real quick, and then Richter's just like, oh, fuck, and he just shoots the rat. And the little recording screen looks like it's splattered with strawberry jelly where this rat explodes. And it's just stuck on repeat. Get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars.
Yep. He should have closed that suitcase.
Also, they have unlimited ammo. Like, no one's
reloading.
Yeah.
Not a single.
It's just
barely.
Just going.
These future guns are so good.
They're so great. But before he did try to break the recording, to be fair. Before he left, he did smash it with something. It just didn't break the actual screen and stop that from going off.
Maybe you should just closed it.
And toss it off the thing.
There might have just been a big erase button right there. Boop.
Have a Mission Impossible thing where it like self-implodes.
Yeah. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is get your ass to Mars. I didn't realize the first time we watched this that he got the fat lady outfit from the briefcase.
I was very confused.
Because the next scene is of a shuttle landing on Mars and all these people coming off, going through like basically TSA.
It looks a lot like not TSA, it looks like Customs.
Customs, that's another good one.
But the ship that he lands on looks a lot like the opening of TOS when they updated it with that CGI Enterprise flying in and landing. Yeah. Every time I saw it, I was like, oh, it's just Star Trek. This is just Star Trek.
Same kind of visual style?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. But there's this lady staying in the room amongst all these people who are all wearing kind of dark colors. And there's one really tall lady with bright red hair and a yellow dress on. Mm-hmm. And she's carrying that same suitcase Arnold had. And when she walks up to a little customs counter, she's just smiling. And the guy's like, well, how long are you going to be here? And she goes, 2 weeks. And he stamps her passport. And I don't see it on my screen here, but the signature on the passport is the actual actress's signature and her real name.
Oh, that's cool. I like this puppet, though, because it reminds you of Mission Impossible.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I feel like they watched this and was like, I think we can do this. Because Mission Impossible was not long after this. Mission Impossible was like, 5 years later?
Yeah, 95.
Yeah. Which I feel like Tom Cruise would have been good in this movie. Not like Tom Cruise from this era, but like later Tom Cruise. Like if they had remade it. Mm-hmm. Well, they did remake it.
They did remake it.
Yeah, but if they had put Tom Cruise in Arnold's role, I think that would have been good.
Tom Cruise was in Minority Report.
Yes.
And the guy who is the main character in Total Recall's remake is also in Minority Report as the guy that Tom Cruise is fighting.
Yes!
Yep.
His character, Colin Farrell's character in Minority Report, I believe his name was Danny.
Yep. So when they're just like, hey, y'all want to do another one of these Philip K. Dick joints? And he's just like, yeah, sure. And then Tom Cruise is like, no.
Is Arnold going to be in this one?
I think Tom Cruise would have been good as this. Yeah. I think he's more believable as an everyday man.
Well, I mean, compared to this towering Austrian, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Arnold's not blending into anything.
No.
The fat lady is, and that's apparently her credit is fat lady.
Oh.
Priscilla Allen.
Oh, yeah.
So in her ID, it actually is her real signature, her real name. But Richter also shows up at the same time talking about, Quaid's coming here. We got to find him. There's some graffiti on the wall about Quado.
Yeah, I think it's like Quado lives or something.
Yeah.
Quado forever. Quado for president.
Quado 2084. And they're like, the rebels think he's goddamn George Washington. And Helm's like, kill the fucker. But as they're walking through...
But don't they, like, mention how no one knows what he looks like?
Yeah, this is where they have that line, no one knows who he is.
Yeah.
As they're walking through, the custom agent stamps the lady's ID. Stabs her. And he's like, do you have any... you bring any perishables with her? And she goes, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He's like, excuse me? And she starts to freak out. And she just keeps repeating 2 weeks, and she's, like, stretching her face a little bit. And she starts to, like, shake, and Richter hears this, and he goes, that's Quaid. Quaid's in that disguise.
Which is a wild jump to make.
Just jump to it.
Like...
Could be anything.
It could be a damn bomb.
Lady could be shitting her pants right now. Nope, that's Quaid. When she comes out of that stall, we're going to get her.
Yeah.
But, like, she starts shaking, and her hair falls off, and then it looked like some kind of, like, an energy probe comes out of the side of the head, and she pushes it back in, and then the head opens up like layers to reveal Quaid. And again, it's good puppet work. It's a puppet head. It's a puppet Arnold here. And the hands come up and grab the head, and when it comes back down, it's real Arnold.
Yeah.
And he's like, think fast, and he throws the head at one of the company security guards, and he dives, and then the head says, "You're in for a surprise."
Which is insane. The head can say this, but could not be like, no perishables.
Could say a full sentence.
Yeah.
It was struggling.
It was struggling a lot. But it starts shooting... Richter starts shooting at Doug, and he shoots glass, which is just the outside surface of Mars. Mm-hmm. And the room depressurizes, and it activates the emergency shutters. But Doug manages to slip through before one closes. So now he's on the run on Mars.
But he gets to that little ledge before the door starts to close, and he pauses to look. I'm like, the thing is coming down. You have seconds. Why are you pausing to look behind you? Just take your Indiana Jones under that thing and go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I dropped my wig.
Right? Then he goes to the Hilton.
No, he has that train ride first. He's on the train, and he hears people talking, and they're like, oh, Cohagen raised the price of air again.
Ah, yeah.
He sees that one guy on the train.
Who looks familiar, but we don't know where we've seen him from.
I recognize this gentleman from Justified.
Mm-hmm. Never seen Justified.
Yeah. He's dead, unfortunately. He died a couple years ago.
From complications with diabetes.
Yes, actually.
Oh, not COVID?
Sorry, complications from COVID.
Okay.
In 2018.
His name was Mickey Jones, by the way.
Mickey Jones?
Mickey Jones.
From Doctor Who?
Oh my gosh. No.
Oh.
But yeah, he basically is like, Arnold asked him, what that mountain is. He goes, oh, that's the Pyramid Mountain, I used to work there as a miner before they closed it when they found some alien shit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, so there is... They said there wasn't any alien shit. And
you're on Mars. Of course there's alien shit.
Right. And the guy's like, and you believe that? That's kind of the conversation they have.
Then he goes to the Hilton. Or does he... Is this when he sees that second video for Recall?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
No, there's not a second video for Recall. He sees that video for Recall when he's on his way to work at the beginning. And when he jumps on the train after being chased by Richter for the first time, after the guy on the escalator, there's an ad for a shuttle to Mars. And in that ad, they're like, why get a fake memory when you can make real ones? Taking shots at Recall.
Gotcha.
But before he goes to the Hilton, we actually have a scene with Richter going to Cohagen's office. And Cohagen basically just tears into him. Like, I'm in power. The only thing that could cause me to lose power is the shit that Quaid knows, and you're fucking it up. He goes, well, I don't give you enough information to think. He's like, you do what you're told. Now, are you going to listen to me?
Then honestly, I feel like Richter is solving a problem. Like, Richter should have killed Quaid.
He was trying.
Yeah.
In his defense, he was trying.
Yeah. He was definitely trying.
But they have a line, Ronnie Cox has a line, Cohagen, about, look, if Quado is psychic like they say, and he gets a hold of Quaid, what's in Quaid's head could be detrimental to my operation mining the turbinium. Terrible name.
Such a bad name.
But it was funny that it looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger was wearing a turban earlier in the movie, and they're trying to get turbinium.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Then we go to the Hilton.
The Hilton.
He checks in with one of his fake IDs, and it says he has a security box in the safe. And the guy gets it for him, and he opens it, and it seems to be empty, which was kind of funny. I did say when we were watching, it'd be funny if when he opened it, there was just a fake mustache.
That would have been good.
That would have been hilarious.
You'll need this to get by Cohagen's security. No, we're looking for a guy without a mustache. You, sir, you go right ahead. But there's a flyer in there for a bar.
Sex, something.
I think it just said sex, but it was called The Last Resort.
Yes.
Of sex.
But there's a note on the back that says, for a good time, ask for Melina. And Doug is like, can I borrow your pen? And he writes Melina down to see, oh shit, I wrote that. That's my handwriting. So I can trust this paper.
I would have been able to, if I had seen that, I would have known immediately if that was my handwriting.
Right?
Absolutely.
I'd have just been like, okay, I wrote this.
Yeah, look at that handwriting. That handwriting is terrible. There's 4 mistakes in there. I wrote that.
Right, at his big old age, he should be able to recognize his handwriting.
He had to make sure.
I mean...
I guess because he has a new memory.
Well, I assume this was just for the viewer.
Okay.
Show, don't tell.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it was a good way to convey it to me. But, you know, I didn't mind it. It was a good little thing, because there was nothing before that that's like, oh, well, how do I know I can trust this note? Well, let me see if it matches my handwriting real fast.
I don't know, for me, it could be because I am so far in the future from when this movie was made, where I was like, that's wild that there's still paper. I was like, like my head was like, why isn't there like a tablet or something? Like, I don't know. It's just like, I was like, y'all really think we're out here going to be using Sharpies?
Yes.
In
Yeah,
2084?
Erica said that when we were watching it last night. She's like, bold of them to still think we're using Sharpies. So,
there's just this 80s perception of the future. It's very 80s.
80s. Yeah. I mean,
well, that was a great thing about Alien Romulus. So that movie is supposed to be set 20 years after the original Alien movie. That movie was made in the 70s. So...
But, like, even in the original... Sorry, not to cut you off. But in the original Aliens, it still felt futuristic despite...
But at the same time, it also felt very 80s.
Yeah.
Or very 70s. Because they have all the old screens. Their tracking device is very minimal. It's not like how in Alien Prometheus, which isn't the full name, but they have, like, holograms and shit. And that movie's supposed to take place, like, 100 years before Alien. Whereas in Alien Romulus, they modeled it to be like, all right, what would people in the 80s think the future would look like that far ahead? That's how they planned that movie. Like, even if you look at the characters' outfits, they look very 80s in their wardrobe. 80s fake sci-fi film. But it's like this movie, it just felt 80s. Like the most sci-fi shit is like, yeah, we've colonized Mars, but like all the technology for the most part, it feels very 80s, except for the video phone. That is very futuristic, but it does look big and bulky.
But I feel like I haven't seen Blade Runner, but I've seen like clips of Blade Runner walking through the hallway or walking through the room when you're watching it, and that feels more futuristic than this movie did.
That movie's got flying cars. That movie's got androids that are no distinct difference between them and humans.
Yeah, and that takes place further in the past.
That movie takes place like 70 years before this movie.
Yeah, so I'm like, how do it...
Look, they didn't coordinate with each other.
No.
Certainly didn't.
Like, so what's your future going to look like? Right now? With a couple different things?
I mean, look at the Back to the Future.
Yeah.
That shit was wild.
It's just like you can go all out with it, or you can try and have it be kind of subtle.
Right.
Yeah.
But in all those futures, they never predicted that we would have computers that fit in our pockets.
Mm-hmm.
They're still using phones, pay phones, all that shit.
Yeah, nobody expected that one.
No one knows where the future is actually going.
True.
Well, this movie did predict ugly ass cars because all the cars in this are hideous. And the Cybertruck is one of the ugliest things on the road.
It feels like they predicted the Cybertruck because I was like looking at it, I was like, that is just a small Cybertruck.
I mean, or that motherfucker that made the Cybertruck was just like, let's make that ugly car from all the movies.
Yes.
Or the guys who made Cyberpunk 2077.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the cars in that video game remind me of some of the vehicles from this movie. And even that shit in that video game is set before this movie.
They might have just been like, hey, let's just use this.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. In 100 years, who's going to care?
Mm-hmm.
But when Doug leaves the Hilton, he goes back outside and he meets a cab driver, Benny. He tells Benny he wants to go to the Last Resort. Benny says something like, oh, you're getting started early. You just got here. You already want to go down there for a good time?
Mm-hmm.
But he does tell him something about he knows a better spot.
Yeah.
But Doug's like, no, I want to go here.
Is this when he first mentions his 5 kids he gotta feed?
Yeah, Benny says that like 6 times.
I hate Benny. Benny's the worst character in the world.
I knew you were going to hate Benny.
Benny sucks.
He felt like a stereotype and not a good one.
Definitely a stereotype.
Benny's the worst.
Yeah.
But this is also the part where I was like, they need to call OSHA. Because they're driving in Benny's little car through these tunnels, and there's these giant drilling rigs that are just zooming back and forth, and they have to keep dodging them.
Yeah.
No kind of emergency signals or anything. Nothing. Just, hey, fuck it, good luck.
And also not a seatbelt in sight.
Mars OSHA doesn't give a fuck.
It's like a Mario Kart track.
Yeah.
There are literal fucking obstacles that you might have to dodge.
Yeah.
And it's so dark on Mars. Like, it's closer to the sun, yet it's still so dark.
Well, I mean, they are underground for good portions of it, and they're under these domes.
True.
Yeah.
But he gets to the club. Actually, on the walk there, Benny's telling him about, we got mutants up here because the early settlers didn't have proper domes. They didn't keep the radiation stuff out correctly. So it caused a lot of people to mutate. And most of the mutants have some kind of psychic abilities.
That's another Philip K. Dick trope.
Do they?
Yeah.
Having some kind of deformity or something wrong with a person or some kind of incident occurred, and that is what caused the precognitive abilities to spawn in people. Like, I think in one story they had it where a nuke or something like that destroyed a place, and then everybody who was near that ended up with either latent precognitive abilities or just like full blown. But that's another one of the things I think he has in there often.
Okay.
Like,
Did
usually
you think
there's.
he had precognitive abilities?
I mean,
He might. He was speaking in tongues.
there was the thing about a pink beam of light from space getting beamed into his head, and that's where he got a lot of information.
Hell of a drug. Like,
Told you, Craig.
There is a
This guy was on some good shit.
he wrote this thing, I want to say, that's called the Exegesis of Philip K. Dick. I cannot explain it. It's something that has to be read.
Oh.
Like, you have to read that thing.
It's like, this is sounding like if J.R.R. Tolkien had done a massive amount of drugs before he wrote any of his stories. Mm-hmm. It sounds like that's what we've gotten another Philip K. Dick.
Yeah, but if you read that stuff, the religious jargon and whatnot that is in that book, it's just like, okay, I cannot follow this. Another reason I only read half that book, because I think there's excerpts from that exegesis directly in that book.
Wild shit.
I think he thought God was talking to him.
Oh no.
Well, good on him for writing books instead of like trying to start a cult.
That's true.
I mean, if
there are worse things to do.
If this crazy sci-fi writer had tried to start a cult, he would have gotten Tom Cruise. We would have had him in this movie for sure.
Oh my gosh.
This wasn't about Lord Xenu, so Tom Cruise didn't want to be in it. So they managed to get to the last resort, and Benny has that line again. Come on, man! I got 5 kids to feed, and Doug gives him a big wad of money. He goes, "Take your kids to the dentist."
If we're being honest, he was handing out stacks left and right.
Yeah, but he only gave that little mutant girl some change.
Right?
She's a mutant.
Yeah, it's a little girl.
Because he gives Benny a full freaking band of money. Mm-hmm. He gives the little girl some change, and then he gives the bartender a wad of money. Because when he goes into Last Resort, he's asking for Melina, and he says, "Well, she's busy, but Mary here can take care of you." And Mary turns and she's the lady with the 3 breasts, which I know about through pop culture. And
yeah, because we're like watching it, and I'm like, oh, 3 titty lady.
Mm-hmm.
So Doug finally meets Melina, and it's the woman from his dream.
Mm-hmm.
Looks exactly like her.
It's the woman from the recall screen when he's picking his dream woman for his memory.
Mm-hmm.
She is played by Rachel
Zegler. McAdams.
Oh my god. Rachel, I'm going to butcher this last name.
Ticotin?
Sure, Ticotin. Ticotin.
Sounds like a Pokemon.
It
Ticotin.
does,
It is
yes.
Ticotin, yeah.
Is she still alive?
I believe she is, yes.
How old was she in this? Because she looked old, but it could have just been 80s old.
Wow.
She was born in 1958.
Oh, so she was the same age as Sharon Stone. She was 32.
She was about 32 years old when they were doing this movie. Yeah, so she is Melina. She walks up to Arnold and she calls him Hauser. Mm-hmm. And she grabs his crotch and she's like, "What you been feeding this thing?"
Wow.
And he says, "Blondes."
But also, like, he doesn't take this as seriously as he needs to be taking it. Because it's like, you know, your past self told you to find her. And you're dicking around, like, with her, like, hello, you know, people are trying to kill you. Let's move on with this here. Mm-hmm. Get to the point.
But as they're walking up the stairs, this guy with what, honest to goodness, looks like a forehead vagina.
Oh, yeah.
Grabs his arm, and he goes, "You got a lot of nerve showing your face around here." To which Quaid responds, "Look who's talking."
He's such a dick.
And his name's Tony.
Yes.
Played by the great Dean Norris. Most people would know him from Breaking Bad as
the brother-in-law.
The brother-in-law. Hank Schroeder, I believe is his character's name. But he's playing this mutant Tony, and this other guy grabs him. Marshall Bell is the other guy playing George. He grabs Tony, and he's like, "All right, Tony, come on, relax. It's okay. He's big guy's, been through a lot." And Doug has the line of, "Try to relax a little bit. You'll live longer." And they go upstairs to Melina's room, and this is where she's pissed because she's like, "I thought you were dead."
But she's really happy to see him first because she like jumps up and starts making out with him.
Well, that's after she slaps him.
Ah, yes.
And she has that thing of, "I thought Cohagen had tortured you to death. Mm-hmm. You didn't call me. You didn't try to let me know you were alive." Mm-hmm. And then she's like, "Oh, I can't resist you." And she starts hugging him and kissing on him. But he says he doesn't remember her. He doesn't remember who he is. He's not Hauser anymore. He's Doug Quaid. And she thinks he's just fucking around.
Yeah. And he thinks, like, she's like, "I have a wife." And she's like, "You have a wife?"
Yeah, she does a literal Erica of, let's back up. Hold on. Circle back. What was that? A wife?
She got set off by that, the way that the other woman got set off with the whole dream thing.
She did. Yeah.
It just set them off, and I'm just like, what is it with these women getting set off by this stuff? And I'm just like, that damn Philip K. Dick.
I mean, to be fair, in this case, she is justified. Because what do you mean you got married?
Right.
And it has
Look, he was
only
gone
been like
for a long
6
time.
weeks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
6 weeks.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
you're right.
6 weeks.
Only 10 weeks. He wasn't gone that long, but goddamn, he got married in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got married real fucking quick.
Yeah.
And she's basically pissed off. She doesn't believe anything he's saying, and she kicks him out. And she also accuses him of using her, and he goes, "Using you for what?" He goes, "I don't remember anything." He's like, I People are trying to kill me. I don't know what's happening, who Hauser is. I don't know who you are. Can you help me out? Somebody.
You would think he would say this, but no, instead he's like,
I don't remember you.
Yeah.
He would have cleared the situation up real quick. He'd be like, look, Cohagen caught me. They erased my memory. They turned Hauser into me. I'm Doug, by the way.
By the way.
Doug.
He did not say any of the correct things that he
Nothing.
needed to say.
No.
But this is honestly how a lot of issues and problems happen. Is just what people not saying the right things.
People don't know how to communicate.
Yeah, it's literally how miscommunication happens and shit gets messed up.
It's the worst trope in romance novels because everyone's like, it's unbelievable. But if we're being honest, it is one of the most believable situations.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Not just romance novels, in like dramas or a big thing in like romantic comedies. There's a big understanding, and instead of the character being accused of something, just flat out saying, no, I was out late because I was seeing my mother at the hospital. She's sick. He's like, no, you don't understand. I had to be somewhere. Just fucking say where you were.
Yeah.
Say what was going on. Be honest. Give more information instead of just shutting up. But that's basically what Arnold does here in this situation. Doug doesn't. He doesn't give enough beans to this situation.
Enough beans.
Enough beans. He doesn't spill all the beans.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. So she kicks him out, and he goes back to the hotel.
This Hilton's really nice. I like
Benny though. Benny's still outside.
Yes, where he once again mentions that he has 5 kids to feed.
He's got kids to feed.
Hey,
He got money to make
5 kids to feed.
Hey,
He's always showing all of his teeth.
all the time.
Like Benny looks like he bites.
He probably does.
And you're going to catch something too.
Yeah. Martian healthcare? No.
Let me get you a ride, man.
Yeah, I'll take you back to the hotel. And he's laying in the hotel. He's watching the news, and there's a knock on the door. The person at the door addresses him by name before he even opens the door. He's like, Mr. Quaid, I need to talk to you about Hauser. You need to let me in. And in walks Dr. Emger? Dr. Edgemer, played by Roy Brocksmith.
Is he dead?
I don't know. I'll find out real quick. But he says to Doug, he goes, Doug, I have some bad news for you. You're not really standing in this room right now, and neither am I.
But I like how...
Also, yes, this man died in 2001.
COVID?
2001.
9/11.
No, he lived past 9/11.
Oh. To 9/12.
He died in December. You're the worst. The worst kind of person.
I'm telling you, if the podcast gets canceled, we know why.
We know why.
But he pulls him in, and he's like holding the gun on him, and only pats the front. Like, this man can't be holding a gun in his ass. Like,
the company's called Recall, not Rectal.
oh, you're right. My bad.
Yeah.
Recall with a K.
Yeah, Rectal with a K.
Why did we say
Huh?
Why did that happen?
She
The
said,
gun
she
out
said
of
he
his
could be
ass.
having a gun in his ass.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
This is also one of my favorite scenes because this
It's a
guy
good one.
acts the hell out of this doctor character.
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
He did a phenomenal job. But basically, he's telling Doug...
He reminds me of Crawley from Supernatural. I think they
Crowley?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I think they could have cast that guy as this guy, and I think it would have been a good swap.
Maybe if he was,
bad.
around.
Yeah.
But this character was actually modeled after a character from an Alfred Hitchcock movie.
Alfred Hitchcock?
No, he looked like Alfred Hitchcock,
Yeah.
but the character's persona was based off of a character called the Professor from a Hitchcock film that I forget the name of, unfortunately.
The Birds.
No.
It's the only one I know.
The birds.
The Buds. So he's telling Doug, like, look, you're not standing here right now. You are strapped into a memory chair at Recall. You had a schizoid embolism. Thank you.
Yep.
Schizoid embolism. And you are stuck inside your ego trip. You are creating it as you go. Basically, he's gone off script from what was supposed to happen in his ego trip. And the doctor's telling him, you're stuck in here.
But it kind of makes me wonder, if he's gone off script, what was supposed to happen?
Not this. So
Because he's still looks like he's trekking along.
everything is still happening exactly the way the ego trip said it would.
Yeah.
Or Bob said the ego trip would. So he tells him that I was implanted in here to kind of bring you back down and get you back to reality. And the only way to do that is for you to want that. It's a very Matrix situation.
It's very Philip K. Dick.
Do you want the red pill or the blue pill? And he tells him, now, I don't necessarily expect you to believe me, but open that door if you don't mind. And Doug's like, no, I'm not falling for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dr. What's his name? Edmer?
Didn't you say Edgar?
Edgemer. Doctor.
Okay.
Dr. Ed.
Dr. Ed.
I feel like there could have been a number of people that they could have sent down that probably would have made it a little bit more believable. Like the original doctor, Dr. Lowell, or Bob, or hell, that receptionist.
Well, we did see when he goes to check in to Recall at the beginning of the film, you have that little screen that he checks in on. Mm-hmm. We see Mr. McLean, who is Bob, but we also saw Dr. Edgemer's name on that screen.
Okay.
And we also saw him earlier in the movie. He's in the Recall ad that plays on the train. Same guy. So, I mean, it kind of feeds into that deception of, no, you're in a dream. Look, you saw me subconsciously. It's very kind of like the subliminal stuff from Fight Club a little bit. But he's like, all right, I'm going to open this door. And look, it's your wife. You can trust your wife. She's like, hi, sweetheart. I want you to come back to me. And he says, so you're saying this is all a dream, so I could put this gun to your head and pull the trigger and nothing's going to happen. And he goes, it doesn't make a difference to me what you do, Doug, because no matter what, at the end of the day, you pull that trigger, you're going to be stuck in here. And he has a great line of, 1 minute you're the leader of the resistance, and the next minute in our reality you're brain dead and you're being lobotomized. So it doesn't matter to me what you do. And he's like, and Doug basically says, well, say I believe you. How do we undo this? And this is the moment where I was like, up until what you're about to do, everything you're saying sounds believable. But the fact that this man has people trying to kill him, and you say, put this pill in your mouth and swallow it. This is totally not going to harm you in any way. There's nothing nefarious about this.
This random pill that you had in your pocket.
Was it a red pill?
It was a red pill.
He tried to red pill his ass.
Because I said that. I was like, oh no, the red pill. Well, you said that already. Yeah.
Because in The Matrix, I haven't watched The Matrix in a while. Is it the
never
red
seen
pill or the blue pill that wakes you up?
I think it's the red one.
Yeah.
The red one will wake him up, and the blue one will leave him in the Matrix.
I think so. Yeah.
Because that's like a thing when people are just like, nah, I'm based in red pill.
Yeah.
Yeah, the red pill wakes you up.
Yep. That blue pill though. Let me get that blue pill, bro.
But yeah, so he offers him the pill, and he tells him. Now, Doug also, after he has that moment of putting the gun to his head, he puts the gun down. He goes, "Good. Now put the pill in your mouth."
He's so aggressive with it.
Very.
Really is.
But again, this is such a great scene. This actor Rory Blocksmith knocks this shit out of the park, and Doug puts the pill in his mouth, and he looks at the doctor, and the doctor has this bead of sweat running down the side of his head.
Wait, it's not even that part though. He's like, then swallow it.
Yeah, he does say that.
Yeah, he's aggressive with that shit.
Yeah.
But Doug sees that bead of sweat, and he goes, "Oh, you're nervous.
Yep.
Oh, you're fucking done." And he shoots this guy in the head, and he spits the pill out.
Yep.
And Laurie is like,
Now you've done it.
"God damn it, Doug." And the wall literally explodes. And the guy had some line about the walls will crumble around you in his little monologue. And these guys rush in and attack Doug, and they get the upper hand, and Laurie punches him in the face. And she's like, "And this is for making me come to this goddamn planet."
Yeah.
And she kicks him in the crotch again. They incapacitate him, they put him in handcuffs, and they're dragging him down the hallway. She calls Richter and Helm, who are actually downstairs in the lobby, and it looks like Richter's enjoying a smoothie. It really did. He had that little cup with that thick-looking drink in it. And he's like, "Good, bring him down the service elevator." And as they're standing there waiting for the elevator, Laurie, the goons, and unconscious Doug...
They probably should have just dragged him down the stairs and let his head hit the thing to kind of keep him under.
Drag him by his ankles?
Yeah.
His head hit every step on the way down? Well, they'd have too many broken steps. You see how thick that skull is? But the elevator opens, and Melina jumps out with a machine gun, and she kills all these guys, and then she has a fight with Laurie in the hallway. Mm-hmm. And they're beating the absolute shit out of each other.
A la Michelle Rodriguez and Ronda Rousey in Fast 7.
Yeah, yeah.
Having the two badass women fight each other is definitely a action trope.
But again, that kind of falls back on the James Bond thing I mentioned earlier. You have two women in your movie. One is always revealed to be working with the bad guys, Laurie, and the other one ends up helping your main character, Melina. But Doug picks up a gun, and Laurie once again busts out with the, "Oh, sweetheart, you wouldn't hurt me, would you? I mean, after all, we're married." And she goes to pull out a gun from behind her back, and Doug shoots her in the head. Mm-hmm. And he has a great one-liner of, "Consider that a divorce." And then Melina's like, "That is your wife?" And he just has this kind of like, I mean, yeah.
Technically.
She goes, "What a bitch."
Yeah.
And then this is my favorite moment of Richter. Because he comes and finds Laurie's body, and he is distraught. He is, "I am going to go get revenge for my lady. I don't care who I gotta kill." And he starts blasting.
What was great, though, is when they get off the elevator, Laurie's body is right in front of the elevator. Mm-hmm. When the doors open, Richter and Helm just run past her real quick, and when Richter sees all the dead guys on the floor, he has a look on his face like, "Ooh, yikes."
Yeah.
And then he turns and sees Laurie, and Helm is like, "Oh shit, I'm just gonna dip. I'm gonna leave you here with this for a minute." And he goes chasing Doug and Melina, and they're running down. They run down this hallway, and they reach a dead end, and they jump across this big opening to like the framework of the dome they're under, and they start climbing down that. And Helm is like, "Oh fuck, I can't shoot at them. They're right there by the glass."
Mm-hmm.
You made a Jurassic Park 2 joke off of this one.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, because
like they grab the bars and they almost do like a parallel routine, like the little girl from Jurassic Park 2.
Oh my goodness.
And we mentioned a raptor.
yes,
Yep.
She could have kicked Velociraptor Laurie off the platform. Well, Richter shows up and Richter does try shooting them.
yeah, he's like just blasting
He
at
doesn't
him.
give a fuck. He's got that rage in him. Mm-hmm. And Helm is like, "What are you gonna do? Shoot the glass and kill everybody?"
And Richter's like, "If I got to."
He does like calm down. He's like, "Oh yeah, fuck." He's got a good point.
Don't want to kill myself too.
Mm-hmm. Not at least before I kill this guy. Mm-hmm. They manage to get downstairs and they run into Benny again. They jump in Benny's cab.
Where he once again mentions that he has 5 kids to feed.
Oh, goddamn, Benny's the worst.
Speaking of which, when Benny kept popping up, he popped up 2 or 3 times. I remember telling Ed, I was like, "This guy's going to die because he's popped up too many times."
Yeah. Well, the first time he pops up, it's a quick just passing by.
Yeah.
And then the second time is when he gets in Arnold's cab. The first time, they're walking to the last resort. He comes out of the last resort. He takes him to back to the Hilton. And when at the end of this chase here, after Laurie's been killed and everything, he's back again. And they hop in his car, and this is where they have a chase scene with Richter and Helm in their car chasing Benny's cab. They're dodging the drills in the tunnel again. And they get back to the last resort after they crash because Benny's cab loses its brakes. And they crash through like 4 separate buildings.
Yeah.
Just going through them one after another like dominoes.
Fucking Blues Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, because at the mall, the mall chase.
Yeah.
That's a good comparison, Jeremy. They escape into Last Resort, and when they run in, Melina's like, "Tony, they're after us." And he runs over to a wall, opens this secret hatch, and Melina runs through. Quaid gets up to it, and no time for this, but he's like, "Thank you, Tony."
Right, but then he's also like, "Benny, come on."
Yeah, they keep telling Benny, "Hurry up. Benny, come on."
Hurry up, Benny.
Which is wild, because Benny could have been like, "Guys, I'm just going to hang a left and not worry about these people trying to shoot y'all."
They're not after me. I'm just a lowly taxi cab driver.
With 5 kids to feed.
With 5 kids to feed.
He definitely should have had more self-preservation in that.
For real.
Reasons.
You would think.
Yeah, you would think. He should have.
Benny sucks. Hashtag Benny sucks.
Yeah. Not a fan.
I was kind of rooting for Benny initially. I was like, I hope he
really
doesn't
was.
die because he keeps popping up, and I'm like, I hope he doesn't die, but I feel like he's going to die because he just keeps popping up.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm almost positive I saw this movie when I was a kid, but it was so long ago I didn't remember most of what happens. But there's a few key things I remember, mainly the 3 boob chick, mainly because that's weird.
Yeah.
But like the big thing that stuck out to me was the opening dream sequence, because I always thought that when he's decompressing and his eyes are poking out, that always freaked me out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Rightfully so.
Right, but there's certain things, other little things I can remember, and one of them involved Benny. So the second Benny popped up, I was like, fucking Benny.
Why don't I like this?
I was like, I know I don't like this guy. I'm not quite sure why, but I know I don't like him. And then that reason reveals itself in a few short scenes. So they escape through this tunnel, the three of them, and Tony closes the door, and they just set a chair and some tables up around it, so it looks like it's just a normal wall. And Richter and Helm run in with some other agency guys that they had happened to pass on their way. And Mary walks down, and Mary's like, "Hey, you want to have a good time?" And he asks, "Where are they?" Where are who? What are you talking about? And she turns and walks around the stairs, and Richter just shoots her in the fucking back.
Mm-hmm.
And it
blows this lady away.
It's so hard because her third tit just pops out of her chest, and I'm like, damn, that third titty.
She didn't need it no more.
Yeah,
she did. Apparently, this scene like really hurt this lady's career. Like, she was only remembered as the 3 boob chick, and she refused to do interviews on some talk shows because that's all they wanted to talk about.
About her third tit?
Yeah, which sucked.
Yeah.
It looks like her name is Licia Naff.
Okay.
Oh, she was in Lethal Weapon. Previous episode.
Yep.
I thought she looked familiar.
Most recently, it looks like she was on an episode of Star Trek Lower Decks. Yeah, her acting career is mostly television shows, from what I can see.
That is true, because you could be that guy from Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see him, I'm like, Blair Underwood, also don't trust that man.
The bald guy.
Oh, yep. the abusive husband?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they start this shootout. There's a lady who works there named Thumbelina. I guess her mutant trope is the fact she's suffers from dwarfism.
There are a lot of little people on Mars. But then, so they go to chase after Thumbelina. And Thumbelina gets some good shots in. I really thought she stabbed him in his nuts, but no, she just stabbed him in his chest.
She went for broke.
Yeah. The people in the bar grab Helm, and Thumbelina pulls out this giant fucking Bowie knife, and she just stabs Helm in the gut.
Yeah.
But then my favorite thing is she runs over to the bartender. She hops up on the bar, and he throws her a machine gun,
Yeah.
and she just guns down a bunch of these agency goons by the door. It was fucking great.
It was.
The actress, Debbie Lee Carrington, she died a while ago, I believe.
COVID?
Not everyone died of COVID.
You're right, 9/11.
That's the new one now?
She died long after 9/11 and way before COVID.
2019. Then.
2018.
Oh, close.
But they kill a bunch of people in the bar. Tony gets shot in the shoulder.
Everyone gets shot in the shoulder.
There's a lot of shoulder shots. In
yeah.
Yeah, you did point that out when we watched it our second time. But Richter manages to dive out the window and get out into the street, and one of the guys is like, "Hey, you got a call from Cohagen." And Cohagen's telling him, "Look, you're in Sector G?" And he says, "Yeah, we got him pinned down. Quaid's here somewhere. All right, get everyone out of there. Stop fighting. Just get everyone out. Don't think. Just listen." Pulls everyone out. And they seal off Sector G, and the big air fans, the big turbines, just stop. They cut off all airflow, and Doug, Melina, and Benny are wandering through these tunnels. They manage to get past one of the barriers. They get past this barrier, and like, "Benny, come on, hurry up." I really wanted them to lose Benny. And they end up in the, looks like the catacombs for the original miners of Mars.
Well, let's pause. I like when the fans stop and everyone, instead of, being alarmed, they're all like, "Let me go stare at this. Let me not stay inside or go home."
There's no point.
Yeah, there's no point. They're trapped there.
Yep. Now that fan is off, there's nowhere in that sector that is safe.
Yeah, that whole sector sealed off. All the air's been cut off.
I think at that point I'm like, I'm just gonna go home and go crawl in bed.
Yeah.
If I gotta die and suffocate, yeah.
At that point, it's just like, I'm gonna watch this fan to see if it turns back on. So, hey, why don't we go manually start rotating this fan?
Right?
That's what I would have done.
Something.
Like, all right, you dumb looking people over here, get over here and help me rotate this fan.
Like an old prop
Did
plane.
you say dumb looking?
Yeah, because they're just staring at the fan, and I'd just been like, all of you This is a life or death situation
Just
now.
like
We're
this-
about to rotate this fan.
Anyone have any like mutant power to turn
Yeah.
things?
But Nice is out. Nice is going out the window now. My life is threatened.
Yeah.
We're done.
Damn it, I don't have a single Magneto in here.
Yep. It's like, all you dumb looking. Yeah, all of you that have that dumb look on your face, come help me turn this fan.
They end up in the catacombs there, and Benny's like, "Hey, I think my grandpa's buried down here." But what was weird is they're standing there. There's like a one of the skeletons behind them. It like sits up, and this gun pops out from behind it. And the rebels are like, "Oh, Melina, it's you. Oh, and you brought Quaid. Who's this guy? Who's this
Shady fella.
this shady guy that we don't know?" Oh, he also had a line when they were leaving the last resort. Earlier, the first time Arnold went there, he was down there with Mary at the bar, and he was grabbing her tits, and he goes, "Man, it makes me wish I had 3 hands." Mm-hmm. And here in the
I
tunnel,
brought that up to you.
they're like, "Well, who's this guy?" He goes, hold on, I'm cool," and he literally detaches his left hand, rolls his sleeve up, and he has an alien arm that reminded me of something from Men in Black.
Yep.
Yes.
And a mutant will come on this way, sir. You're
Obviously,
good.
you can't be evil.
Yeah, you're legit. You one of us.
So, I thought that was kind of funny that, oh yeah, he does have 3 hands. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Foreshadowing.
I wish I had 3 hands.
They make it into like the Rebel Control Center, where George is talking to Tony, and he's like, "Things are going bad here. We're running out of air.
Things haven't been going well with Tony.
They're not right now." It's a Bob's Burgers reference for anybody. You know, all right, look, they've sealed off Sector G. They've cut off the air supply. We need to hurry up and get you to Quado and find out why you're so special. And George takes Quaid into this back room, and he's like, "Where's Quado? I thought he wanted to see me." "Oh, he's on his way. Don't worry, he's coming. He's very interested in you." And he goes, "No, just remember, Quado is a mutant. So when you see him, don't freak out." And George turns his back, and he has this. It's almost like he's taking a shit. I don't really want to compare it to anything else. And this little hand pops out from underneath George's shirt, and he turns around, and it looks like he has a burned up Chucky doll
I was gonna say the same.
plastered to his stomach. And it's the same actor. It's Marshall Bell doing the voice of Quado. And George is kind of just like a puppet.
Yep.
And he turns off. And Quado is now in control. He's working the legs. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Mr. Quaid."
But it's like, it's weird, because it's like Quado just kind of like absorb himself back into George,
Very
or
disturbing.
or is he just like hanging out always and slowly suffocating in George's shirts?
Nah, he's not suffocating. He's fine. He's getting air from George.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I assumed that he
From George.
He is. I assumed he would, because like George is, when he's got his shirt buttoned up before we meet Quado, there's no bump or anything there.
Okay.
So I just assumed Quado like recesses into him. You know, like when a guy's balls get cold.
Like a turtle.
Yeah, or like a turtle.
Okay.
That's a less graphic description.
Yes.
Yeah, he just tucks him up in there.
Or like the Men in Black, like it just, yeah.
Okay.
No, that's too neat.
That's too neat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Quado is put it mildly, wet.
It's gross.
He's so moist.
He's moist.
He came from the inside,
He
so
was sweating.
that's why.
But he basically tells Quaid, like, "Look, I need what's in your head. What they found in that pyramid is something very important." And he's like, "Take my little hands. Take my little 3-fingered hands."
Hold, take my strong hand.
Yeah, but they do this thing where he's like, "Open your mind.
This part took too long.
Open your mind." But every time they do it, they would show a close-up of Arnold, close-up of the puppet, close-up of Arnold,
Yeah.
close-up of the puppet. And they keep getting closer and closer, and this puppet looks fucking gross.
But like, what's kind of funny is like George is in the background, just like,
That's but that is also a puppet.
yeah.
Once Quado pops out of George, that Marshall Bell is no longer physically there. It's a puppet. And it's a good puppet. It's another one that looked pretty decent for the time. And basically what he sees inside of Quaid's mind is this giant alien structure that's hidden inside Pyramid Mountain.
That's a terrible name for a mountain.
Well, I might be getting the name of it wrong, but I thought that's what it was called.
No, I'm with you. I just think it's a terrible name.
I agree. It's like, what's that mountain? That mountain looks like a pyramid. What should we call it? I don't know.
Circle.
The Mars Dirt Hill. No, let's call it Pyramid Mountain. And Richter, Cohagen, and some doctors are walking through, and they're talking about turning it on. And Richter says, let's just turn it on. Let's see what happens. Quado wants this. Fuck it, let's just turn it on. And Cohagen is like, no, if we turn it on, it's going to cause a complete meltdown. It'll cause all the turbinium in the planet to go nuclear, and this planet will fall apart. And Hauser knew about this, which is why he hid him on Earth. And Quado tells him, like, look, it doesn't matter who you are, because he says something about Hauser. He goes, I'm not Hauser anymore. I'm Quaid now. Mm-hmm. And Quado's like, it's not who you are. It's what you do that makes you who you are. And right now, you're trying to help people. And at the same time, the agency finally finds them. They crash through the hideout using their big drilling rigs. And it takes Quaid a second to wake George up. He's like, come on, snap out of it. I need you to get this little weird thing in you out of here. And they run out, and they're like, Melina and Benny, we need to run. The bad guys found us, and they run to an airlock.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, these people are suffocating up top.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They did mention that they had about an hour of air left. At some point, they mentioned there's an hour of air left in Sector G. But I think that's after they get caught by Cohagen later. So the people, they make it seem like the people have time to do the shenanigans that are about to happen.
Barely.
Yeah.
But you know someone's panicking and it's probably like hyperventilating, sucking up more air than they probably need.
Yep.
Oh, of course. Someone's got a fire going. Put that shit out.
Yeah.
Oh, but also, did I mention that Cohagen wants to destroy the alien structure?
No.
I forgot to mention that.
Yes.
Richter wants to turn it on, and Cohagen wants to destroy it. They run to the airlock. It's George, Quaid, Melina, and Benny. And George is telling them, hey, put on these suits. We got to go outside. We got to get the hell away from here. And as soon as they close the airlock, Benny pulls a gun, and he shoots George.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, come on, man. You know, I got 4 kids to feed. And Quaid's like, what happened to number 5? Oh, you're right.
You got me.
I'm not even married.
Yep.
And he opens the airlock door and lets Richter and the goons in.
But I don't understand what being married has to do with him having 5 kids.
This is the back then times.
Okay.
You can't be fucking and making kids unless you're married.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
That's. I had the same thought. I was like, it's because of the time.
Gotcha.
Definitely. Benny might be a murderer, but he's not a sinner.
And he's not a deadbeat dad,
That's
apparently.
right.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even a dad.
See?
It's future back then times.
Yep.
So Quado's still got a little bit of life left in him. And he's like underneath this shirt, and he's just like moving it a little bit. He's like, Quaid. He pulls it, he goes, start the reactor. And then fucking Richter shoots this puppet in the head.
That was a good shot, because he had to like go around the body too.
Blammo.
Mm-hmm.
Then they bring everyone to Cohagen's office. Mm-hmm. And Cohagen's looking at the body, and he opens the shirt up a little bit to look at Quado and goes, oh, no wonder he was hiding. And then
The shade.
Just a dickhead. And he's telling Cohagen is saying to Doug, like, oh, you did great work. Oh, everything worked out well. And he's like, fuck you. He goes, oh, what? No. Come on, buddy. Don't be like that.
It's like, this is exactly what we wanted.
Right. And this is where it is revealed that Hauser was actually working for Cohagen.
Mm-hmm.
He volunteered to become Quaid because they knew if he was just pretending, Quado's psychic abilities would have sniffed him out.
Mm-hmm.
So they intentionally erased his memory, turned him into Doug, and planted the evidence to make it seem like he was double-crossing Cohagen. And Doug says, bullshit. If that's true, then why was this guy trying to kill me all day? You don't want to keep someone alive if you send someone to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
He said, oh, Richter wasn't part of the plan. If I had told him about it, he wouldn't have been so aggressive. And you might actually or you might have figured out you were working for me. But you did great. We got Quado. We snuffed out this rebellion. Job well done. And to pay you for it, we're going to turn you back into Hauser.
Mm-hmm.
Because Hauser even says, like, you know, you did a good job, but it's my body. I want it back.
Yeah, because they got the other video that he hadn't seen before, and they were like, check
Yeah.
out this new footage.
This is the deleted scene.
Yep.
He's like standing there, and then Cohagen like comes and pats him on the back.
Yep.
Yep, and they're laughing together.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, you can't. This is undeniable stuff.
Yeah. But it's like, come on, Quaid. You're going to like being Hauser. He's got a nice house. He drives a Mercedes. And you know what? You like Melina so much, we're going to reprogram her to be the most obedient wife that she could be. And she spits in Cohagen's face.
Yeah.
So they strap them back into the the recall memory chairs. And Arnold has some more great grunting, screaming, kicking as they're strapping him into this chair.
I don't know why they didn't just, shoot him with the anesthesia.
Before they put him in the chair.
Yeah.
Good fucking question.
They already went through this one time.
Right?
And got messed up. That's probably why those other people that they could have brought in the second time, they were like, hey, do you want to come in here and try to calm down this guy again? And they were like, no.
I'm good.
Something's getting real low, big fella.
So, the first time we tried to do something with that guy, he messed us up.
Right before Cohagen leaves, he goes, oh, by the way, I'm having a party tonight. I expect to see you and Melina there. And Richter is like, see you at the party. Mm-hmm. And they leave, and then they're turning on the memory chairs.
Richter punches him first.
Yes, you're so fucking right.
He's just like, he's not gonna remember this, right? He's like, he's not gonna remember. He punches the shit out of him
right in the fucking nose.
Yep.
And as they're turning it on, Arnold starts fucking with the arm of the chair that's got his wrist, and it just comes right the fuck out. And it's got a big bolt in the bottom of it, and he uses that to stab one of the lab technicians.
Yeah.
He breaks free. He kills one. I think he gets a hold of an axe because one of the guys grabbed an axe.
He kills like 8 people on his way to try to get Melina.
It's great.
Yeah.
There's another guy. I don't know where this instrument came from, but he uses it like a bat, and he hits one guy in the ribs with it, and then he turns it around and shoves it through the guy's face like a spear. And then we get a quick shot of the guy going, ugh.
Yeah, so brutal.
Brutal. That's that Paul Verhoeven magic right there. The practical death effects. Great. And they're never on screen too long.
Yeah.
It's just quick little glimpses of it, which is what I appreciate. He manages to get Melina free. He goes, are you okay? You still you? She goes, well, I don't know, dear. What do you think? Now's not the time, madam. We are in a life and death situation.
We have people suffocating in Sector G here.
Stop with the one-liners.
Oh, also, I think before Cahaben leaves, he's like, Hauser was my best friend.
He does. Hauser's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
He does have that line. And he still just, fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Richter was saying we probably should just kill this guy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, this is too risky trying to do this stuff again.
Yeah.
Now that we got what's his name out of the way, we probably just need to get rid of him.
We got rid of Quado. We don't need him anymore.
We don't need him anymore. He's like, nah, that's my friend.
Yeah, but they're running through these tunnels, and Quaid starts going a different direction. Melina's like, where are you going? We need to get the fuck out of here. He goes, I need to go to the reactor. We need to go turn it on. Mm-hmm. She goes, what reactor? What are you talking about? And he goes, it makes air. That's the whole point of it. That's why Cohagen is scared. He won't turn it on. Mm-hmm. If he loses control of the on this planet, then he loses control of everything. Mm-hmm. We won't need to mine the turbinium anymore for some war effort.
Whatever it's doing.
Yeah. But he'll lose control if there's actual atmosphere on this planet.
Man, literally just controlling the only natural resource.
Mm-hmm. Just and so then he can charging people for it, which is how?
Just so he can live better than them.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. How are you charging people for air? Because you don't see anyone walking around. They don't have like a personalized oxygen tank that they're charging like that episode of Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. It's just everyone's just walking around and breathing, and it's like I guess they tax them on the air.
It's like, oh wow, capitalism.
Yeah.
Star Trek figured that shit out fucking 60 years ago, that capitalism doesn't fucking work. Mm-hmm. Captain Picard tells a guy, he's like, look, we don't have money anymore. We don't work for that. We work to improve ourselves and make ourselves better every day. That's the whole point of living.
Yep.
And this one guy is like, what about my money? Picard sets his ass straight. So they're Doug and Melina are running through these tunnels, and he's like, this way, we gotta go this way to the reactor, and they run into a dead end. And as they turn around, the big drill behind them turns on, and we finally get more Benny, which everyone's been fucking missing.
Yeah.
And he's trying to kill them, and Doug grabs like a hand drill, and he drills out like the hydraulic line for this drill, kills it, and Benny backs up, giving Quaid room to get around to the side, and he uses this drill to go right through the driver door and scramble Benny. And apparently this scene was a lot longer in the original cut. This movie was originally rated NC-17.
Oh.
They had to cut it down to get it to R, and it was just for violence.
Yeah.
It was just too fucking violent. In RoboCop, there's literally a scene where RoboCop shoots a guy in the dick through a woman's skirt through her legs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you can only imagine what the original cut of this movie looked like.
I mean, if you get to see Benny get jacked up.
Literally.
Oh, it's great, though, because as he's putting this thing through the door, he's like, Benny, screw you.
Yep. Freaking Benny, he was
Benny sucks.
Yeah, he had no reason to try and kill them right there.
None.
Nope.
Mans was just malicious.
That's it.
Yep.
That's what happens when you start bootlicking.
That's what Benny was really good at.
Yep.
Driving a taxi and licking boots.
And talking about his 5 kids.
His
Five
five kids. He has 5 kids to feed.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, I feel lied to.
You were lied to.
Deceived.
You were deceived.
But after he kills Benny, they realize that the wall that they ran into was just a fake wall.
All of these walls were fake. All of them. Every last one of them. They're so easy to bust through. It's like fucking X-Men with the Kool-Aid Man.
Was it a
What?
fake wall, or did the drill supposedly go through the rock wall?
Went through.
Well, they mentioned earlier in the movie that they had closed off the mine to the pyramid.
Right.
So I just assumed that it was a fake wall because it was so thin.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. I felt like everyone was busting through walls in this movie.
I mean, we got 2 wall busting scenes, one with this and one at the hotel room.
Yeah. Well, either way, the wall's busted now.
Yeah.
Right.
Benny's dead.
But it was funny when they were busting through the wall and Benny backed the drill up, a big chunk of it fell on Melina.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She also got cut by the thing on her arm.
Yeah, her and Quaid. Both of them got caught up in the shredder of the drill. So they make it to the reactor, they're climbing up, and he explains that the reactor works by melting the ice of the core of the planet, releasing oxygen. So it'll basically just be creating a full atmosphere for Mars.
Does that mean there's like a finite amount of air that Mars will be creating, or?
I think it's going to be like... Because it's going to be melting ice. So it also will be releasing moisture into the air.
Which would then rain.
And if it creates plants like it does on Earth, then the plants will continue to make oxygen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a well-oiled machine as long as you don't...
No, it doesn't make sense at all.
Okay.
As long as you don't...
Short answer, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense how it's going to make it in a literal atmosphere.
I mean, the way it's explained in the movie is ice has air in it. Ice melts, creates air, but there's nothing that says it's going to replenish the air. So theoretically, the air would eventually run out.
Before it starts making these plants.
But spoiler, when they turn the reactor on at the end of the movie, you see storm clouds form.
And it works immediately. Like, well, maybe not immediately, but like immediately enough.
The storms, you get water, and then the water is probably going to end up
In the dirt.
making plants.
Yeah.
Somehow.
No, it's not great.
So
It's not a great explanation.
but I guess my question is, right?
We're getting into the science of this shit.
Yes, they built the Martians, the previous Martians built the reactor because they're like, we need an atmosphere. We can't keep bringing in our own air. So they're like, let's melt down this core. I feel like there could have been an easier way. I feel like there's got to be a simpler way than having an on button.
Well, in their defense, they're all dead. So
True.
they weren't very good at thinking ahead.
Okay.
They needed water.
We never see an alien in this movie.
Just the alien possible hand.
Just we know that
Just
the
the
aliens
mutants.
had fingers like Quado. They had
Raptor hands.
4 fingers.
Yeah.
Raptor. There's just a little toe hole, like a bowling ball.
Again, the science with this was a little
Yeah,
far-fetched. But of course,
it's gonna rain.
It's a sci-fi movie.
The rain's
so-
going to collect around the fucking planet. Definitely going to change the entire topography of the fucking planet.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be oceans now. So
But
only certain areas are going to be livable.
Are they going to bring plants from Earth and suppose that they can grow on Mars? I mean, because Mars is closer to the sun, so that means...
Yeah, what's the zone for these plants?
And also, like, are we going for, like, a heat situation? Are they, like, taking into account, like, how hot Mars is going to be?
Maybe.
Or we're overthinking it.
Okay.
But either way, that's how this reactor works. And Cohagen... I don't think Cohagen really knows that. I really do think that he believes if they turn it on, it's going to cause a meltdown of the planet. Mm-hmm. Because he keeps saying, if you turn it on, we're going to die.
Yes.
Because once we get there, right now they are walking into the main reactor room, or the entranceway of the reactor, and Richter is there with a whole bunch of agents, and this is where we finally get to see that holographic watch go into play.
Oh yeah, we didn't bring up the holograph when he got to the factory.
No, we mentioned he got it.
Okay.
But this is the first time we've actually seen him use it for something. Mm-hmm. And
it's a good thing he remembered to grab it when he was on the run.
Very good thing. But we see Quaid walk in and they surround him and they all start shooting at him and they realize, oh, it's a hologram. But not a single one of these guys. They're standing in a circle.
Yeah.
No one gets shot in the crossfire.
They don't hit each other when they're just shooting at this one guy.
Yeah, and then Quaid pops up behind them and starts blasting them. Mm-hmm. And then it's just a simple game of him and Melina tossing the watch back and forth. And two guys go to shoot Melina. It's the hologram. They shoot across from each other and they kill each other. But when they have the whole crowd of people, not a single one gets hurt.
No one gets hit.
So that scene goes on, and then after they've killed everyone, Richter jumps on a freight elevator, and he's trying to get away. Doug jumps on the elevator after him. They fight a little bit. He throws Richter over the edge, and Richter says, "If I die, you're coming with me." And as they're going up, they realize they're about to go through like a chute in the floor. Mm-hmm. And Richter looks up, sees it, starts screaming, and it just cuts his arms right off. Mm-hmm. And then Arnold's holding these two severed arms. He goes, "I'll see you at the party, Richter."
Throws
him over the edge. And he gets to the top and he sees the big button. And he goes to press it, and Cohagen is already there. And Cohagen has the thing of, look, don't turn that on. It's going to cause the entire planet to explode. I'm just going to blow this thing up, destroy it, and I'll be home in time for cornflakes.
There's not enough shooting first, exposition later.
You sly dog, you caught me monologuing.
Yeah.
But also, what the fuck's he going to go eat cornflakes?
Maybe he gets joy out of cornflakes.
He's that bland?
Yes.
Okay. Ronnie Cox with his bad haircut in this movie.
Some people just want to go home and eat some cereal. You had a stressful day, just eat some cereal.
I'll give you that. This guy's the most powerful guy on the planet, and he just goes home and unwinds with a bowl of cornflakes.
He has a party to go to.
We don't even have cereal at home.
Cereal sucks.
Yeah.
Especially cornflakes.
Adam looks like he's going to lay into you.
Adam does love cereal.
Cereal sucks.
Mollywop your ass.
Please do.
Cereal sucks.
Cereal sucks.
What?
Yes.
Said no one ever.
I just did.
Just said it.
I'm cutting that out.
Rude.
I'm going to cut around it and make it sound like, I love cereal.
Oh my gosh.
But this is a great little detail. Ronnie Cox is about to shoot Quaid, but Melina shows up and again saves him. She saves him in this movie way more than he saves her, which I like. But she shows up on the counterweight for the elevator. Like, she didn't wait down there for the elevator to come down, get in the elevator, and go back up. It looks like she just hopped on the counterweight and rode it back up.
But also,
smart.
Are there no stairs?
Mm-mm. Who wants to use the stairs?
I mean, what if
that was a long way, though.
Yeah, it's like, what if the electricity's out? How do you know?
Too much thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, I think,
there was enough thought with this atmosphere creation thing.
I have the answer to that, by the way, once we get, or do we want it now?
Well, let's wait until we get there.
Okay, once we get farther along, I have the answer you need.
Yeah. Okay.
So Melina shows up. Again, we get a shoulder shot. She shoots Cohagen in the shoulder. He falls down. He grabs the detonator. And this was one of the silliest looking things to me. The bomb that he planted looks like an old alarm clock. It's just a tiny rectangle, and it's just sitting there. And Arnold just grabs it and he chucks it down this vent, blows up the vent, and creates a vacuum. They're all trying to fight to get sucked out onto the surface. And Doug is climbing up this rope that's wrapped around the button for the reactor. Cohagen and Melina are like holding on to things right around the control panel. And as Doug gets close to Cohagen, he just grabs him and pulls him free, and he gets sucked out onto the surface. And this is where we get our second thing, or a second visual of the depressurization of the surface of Mars. And this is the stuff that went on for way too long.
It was so long.
But Doug manages to crawl up and he hits the button. And you can see the reactor start engaging, but he and Melina also get sucked out. And as they're getting as they're tumbling down the surface, it keeps cutting to Cohagen, who's starting to decompress, and he turned into Jiminy Glick. I don't know if you guys know who that character is. It's a character Martin Short played. He's a fake talk show host, but it's Martin Short in a fat guy suit, and it's exactly what Ronnie Cox looked like to me. Hold on, I'm gonna pull a picture up.
Okay, because I have no idea what you're talking about. But while this is happening, it cuts back to Sector G. They're all passed out, and the fans kick on.
No, the fans don't kick on. The fans are still off.
Oh, but the windows start exploding.
The windows start exploding once the mountain finally.
Yeah.
All that steam comes out of the mountain. So, this is what Cohagen looked like when he landed on the planet and he was starting to decompress.
Yeah.
That's Jiminy Glick.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah.
Immediately, I thought of him.
Yes, he does.
So, and this is where they use this effect way too much. This goes on way too long. So while the reactor is engaging, it's the cores are coming out, making contact with the ice. It's releasing the steam. But in all this, we keep cutting back between Cohagen, Quaid, and Melina dying on the surface. And this is the part where I was saying they got their fucking use out of this puppet. But I will say they are puppets. They're practical dummies they made that they could push their eyes out, expand the faces, and they're just like...
Oh, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
They need you to know this is some bad stuff.
It's bad. It just went on for too long.
It did.
They could have showed it...
Twice, maybe?
Cut 30 seconds of it out.
They need you properly disturbed.
It worked. But as the air starts to engulf the surface, they basically are like being put back together. Like their faces unswell, their eyes go back in their head. They should have permanent physical damage from this experience.
Be dead.
Yes.
Yeah, they should have already died.
Yeah. We don't see Cohagen die. We see him expanding, but we never see a pop. We don't hear a... There's no like big wet puddle you see there.
Yeah.
Looking like Judge Doom from the end of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
Just an empty suit laying on the ground.
Yeah.
But they're fine. The big steam cloud breaks the window in Sector G, and all those people start getting their air.
Yeah.
There was a phone call we missed when they had Quaid and Melina tied to the chairs when they were going to reset them. A technician calls Cohagen, and he says, Sector G's got maybe an hour of air left. What do you want us to do? And Cohagen says, nothing. Fuck them.
Yep.
He's like, it'll teach the others what happens when they fuck with me. So the air engulfs the planet.
Melina and Doug walk up onto the little mountain and look out into the blue skies with the mountains.
They do. But before that, there's a big shot of the mountain looking like it's erupting steam. It looked like a fucking wizard should have popped out of it. Because there's a big storm cloud above it. There's all this white smoke. I want to say there was lightning.
Like a storm.
And it was like swirling around the top of the mountain. Like there's a wizard fight happening down in there. Seriously.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of. I was really getting strong vibes of Willow. And that's when Quaid and Melina walk up to the edge. And there's this mirrored the dream at the beginning of the movie. At the beginning of the movie, it's him and Melina on like the edge of a cliff, and they're looking out over the Pyramid Mountain. At the end of the movie, they're standing on Pyramid Mountain, and they're looking out at the cliff. But just like at Recall, the ego trip was called Blue Skies on Mars.
Yep.
And we end the movie with a big, beautiful sky.
Blue sky.
Blue sky on Mars.
Mm-hmm.
And Quaid says, "Oh, what if I'm dreaming?" To which Melina responds, "Well, kiss me before you wake up." And they have a nice embrace and a kiss, and our movie ends.
Yep.
And now, Jeremy, you're going to explain to us the magic science.
If you literally Google how is atmosphere created, you will get an atmosphere is created primarily through a process called outgassing, where gases are released from a planet's interior, mainly through volcanic activity during its formation. And these gases gradually accumulate, with these gases gradually accumulating to form the surrounding atmosphere. The composition of the atmosphere can then be further altered by biological processes like photosynthesis over time, whatnot, and what have you. But anyway, gases from a planet's interior through volcanic activity.
But there's
and the reactor acts as the volcano, the heat.
The atmosphere, all of the gases that are released are held to the planet by gravity.
Okay.
So they don't just disperse and leave. The gravity holds the air to the planet. What are you looking at me like that for?
Okay, but it wouldn't have been dispersed in enough time to save them.
You know what? If you want to know the real answer to this, anyone listening, try to get in touch with Neil deGrasse Tyson. He will absolutely know the answer, and he will set you straight.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen that fast. I'm 100% sure, yes. But for the sake of the movie that has mutants in it and takes place on Mars, where we already are in an unbelievable situation. But yes, there's your question, your answer to atmosphere being formed by gases being released from the planet's interior, and then gravity holding the...
No, I appreciate it, just still
it's legit. It just wouldn't happen. You wouldn't be getting your air that fast, maybe.
But if that's what happened when they were extreme decompression, the planet is about to become severely compressed. So I imagine everyone's getting like the bends. And like when you come up from diving too fast and it starts fucking with your internal gases.
I feel like they didn't want to get too deep into the science of it.
Of course not. We're overthinking it.
There's mutants in this story once again.
Will you quit?
I'm just saying.
They're going to be going to freaking Charles Xavier's school shortly.
If you want to start, bringing in realism, just remember there are mutants and psychics in this story as well.
Fine.
And most of the mutants are psychic.
Yeah.
So the two questions I have, or now that we're at the end of our movie, would you have regretted seeing this in the theater? And do you think it's all part of his ego trip, or do you think he really went on this adventure? And I'll start with Erica.
I don't think I would want to see this in theaters. I don't think I would want to pay money for it. But I did enjoy it. But that being said, I do think this was all in his head. I think it was his ego trip. The beat for beat way they tell the story, and also the way things happen. Like, the way people just appear to give him information feels a little too convenient for it not to have been a planned ego trip memory implanted for him. Which makes me feel bad for his friend, because now he lost 2 guys to lobotomy from Recall.
Well, we don't necessarily know he was lobotomized.
There's no way he's coming out of this.
I mean, yeah, it's just part of his ego trip.
And also, hopefully his wife never finds out about it, because he's killed her multiple times.
But that's like what we had the conversation of in the beginning of, you can't be mad at someone having a dream. Also,
if he's lobotomized now, it doesn't matter.
True.
Right. I mean, he's toast.
Yeah, he's done.
But also poor Lori, because I think it's inside. I don't think it happened, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Etta, what do you think?
I wouldn't have gone to theaters to see it.
No?
No. Not my type of movie. I don't know. I feel like it might have been true. I mean, Mans was too jacked to be a construction worker. And he was throwing people around like it was nothing. So I feel like he legitimately had that training. So I feel like it might have been real.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeremy, what do you think?
I would have been okay seeing it in theaters. There was enough people getting beat up and shot up. I probably would have enjoyed it. As far as it actually happened, I feel like it was a legitimate thing that actually happened instead of just being in his head. Because having, read a lot of these stories by this guy, he does tend to lean into that a lot by making the story seem like it could be real and also not be real. So sometimes you kind of just have to choose which one you want to go with. But yeah, I feel like it was a thing that legitimately happened. Also, a lot of these stories that guy writes, they don't have happy endings, I want to say. Like, sometimes good things do happen, but so many bad things happen throughout that it's just like your life is forever altered in a lot of negative ways too. But yeah, a lot of the endings of his stories are kind of bad.
Yeah, it's very ambiguous.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't have regretted seeing this in the theater. I liked it. It was fun enough. The squib work was amazing in this movie. The cast was really good. I do think it was all part of his ego trip. Because everything that Bob described before he went under happened exactly the way he described it. He mentions the lost luggage, the bad weather, the crooked taxi drivers, the fact we saw Melina on the screen before he went under, the reactor was on the screen before he went under. To me, I think it was all part of his ego trip. And like at the end when they kiss and the bright light engulfs the screen, I think that's him coming out of it.
Okay.
But I liked it. I had a good time with this. I have not watched the remake. I think you guys
we watched
definitely did watch it.
We did.
You're not going to like it as much as this one.
Really?
I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to insert my review of it right here.
Do I get it to insert my review as well?
Yeah, both our reviews will get slapped into the episode.
Right here.
It was an okay movie. It wasn't great. The plot was very different from the original, which I liked, but they had too many callbacks to the original movie.
I liked the callbacks, though.
I think there were too many. Like, this movie didn't have any fun quips.
No. No fun murders either.
No, rated PG-13 instead of rated R.
Yeah.
Yeah. All in all, though, it was a fine movie.
Yeah. I agree. I like the first one better. I like the style and the aesthetic of this one. This one actually felt like it was in the future, whereas Total Recall just felt like it was in the 80s. And they were just in the 80s. But I liked, it wasn't bad. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. It was a bit of a letdown after seeing the first one. I was like, oh, okay. But, yeah.
And too much lens flare.
Oh my God, it was like J.J. Abrams directed it.
And that's what we thought about the movie.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely had a good time with this.
I shockingly had a good time with this. Like, I was like halfway through and I'm like, well, I kind of like this.
And a few fun little details I looked up according to trivia. If you watch the movie, you notice when they're on Earth, all the advertisements are for Coca-Cola. And once they get to Mars, all the advertisements are for Pepsi.
Oh.
So what you're saying is there's Taco Bell on Mars, but not Taco Bell on Earth.
Yes. So Earth is,
Gotta
really
go to Mars.
declined.
Who has Dr. Pepper, honestly, is the real question.
Everybody.
Okay.
Everyone has Dr. Pepper. But the director, Paul Verhoeven, has said the first 20 minutes of the movie, no matter what you think about the main adventure of the film, the first 20 minutes are reality. Everything that happens before he goes to recall was real. Everything after that is up to how you interpret the film. Mm-hmm. People who were considered for the role of Melina, Nicole Kidman, and Alexandra Paul.
Who's Alexandra Paul?
I'm not sure.
Also, Nicole Kidman in the 90s, what was she doing? Like,
apparently she was considered for this role.
Fair.
Alexandra Paul is an actress who I don't recognize.
She only has like one photo shoot?
Apparently.
I only know really one of her movies that I'm seeing here is Christine, which is a John Carpenter film.
Oh, you like John Carpenter. Nicole Kidman was in Moulin Rouge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and Cold Mountain. Is that her in Cold Mountain?
I don't know that movie.
Practical Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Far and Away.
When did that come out?
92.
Yeah,
she
this movie was
screamed that
filmed
one
in
at you.
89 though.
Well,
Probably.
I don't. What is Far and Away?
Is that not the one where the guy...
They're from Ireland.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise's dad dies like 3 times.
Yeah, and then they do the same thing at the end with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
So people who originally picked to play Quaid were Jeff Bridges, Richard Dreyfuss.
Is that Julia Louis-Dreyfus's dad?
I don't think so.
Oh.
It's the guy from Jaws that plays Mr. Hooper.
Okay.
You never saw Jaws.
You've never seen Jaws.
Mark Harmon. He was the main actor on NCIS for like 700 years.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Selleck.
With the mustache?
With the mustache. The mustache. He wouldn't have needed a fake mustache.
He wouldn't have.
And my favorite one, Matthew Broderick.
That would have been fun.
I don't think that would have been good.
No, but it would have been fun.
Oh my gosh. All right, now, this movie came out in 1990. So, what do you guys think the average ticket price was in 1990?
$3.82.
$4.85.
$2.50.
Etta, $4.23.
Damn, because I was going to guess $4.12.
Etta
Nice.
got real damn close.
Nice.
You want to tell everybody what our next movie is going to be?
Yes. Yes, I do, because I'm really excited for it. It is Lars and the Real Girl with Ryan Gosling. It's so good. You're going to love it.
I'm excited. I've heard
It's so
this
funny.
movie is insane.
I haven't seen it in a while, so hopefully it holds up. But I love that movie.
I'm looking forward to seeing that one. So that'll be our episode 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, so follow us on all social medias. We're on Blue Sky. No, we're not on Blue Sky.
Not yet.
We're on Twitter for some reason. We're on Threads, Instagram, Facebook, and
YouTube, Amazon Music,
Spotify,
Apple Podcasts, Getting to Theater. Our tag is Get2 Theater. Get2 Theater.
Follow us.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed our conversation on Total Recall. I know I had a good time with this movie and this conversation. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks for Lars and the Real Girl. Yeah. We've been Getting to the Theater. I'm Adam.
I'm Erica.
I'm Etta.
I'm Jeremy.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time.